Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of mad actors will attempt to survive the treacherous waters of Dungeons and Dragons. I am your host and Dungeon Master Jason Phelps, and I am joined, as ever, by Robbie, Venus de Milo Bellekom, Sam, Venus Calipige Burns, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that one. And Ellie Sparrow. These three...
I don't know what any of these things mean.
I know what the first one is. These three were provided by Valeria Messalina from Twitter. So thank you again, Valeria. I gotta say that those ones have actually slipped by me on references. But if you understood them, good for you.
Tweet us to explain someone else's tweet.
Yes.
Yay! By all means.
It's episode 143. Nothing numerically significant that I know of from there. Probably something weird and numerically significant.
Weirdly satisfying number.
It's a satisfying number. So, but in terms of satisfaction... What?
Is it Prime?
Yes, I think it is.
Maybe.
Feels like it.
Tweet me and tell us if it's Prime.
Last time we got a Prime number wrong,
right.
they definitely told us on the server.
They did. I was pleased, actually. It was glad that we knew.
Yes, other people are better at maths than us.
Yes.
13. 13's got...
Of course it does, it's 11.
11,
it's 11
13.
times 13. How did none of us notice that?
We're actors. What is maths? Mind you, you and Rob are actually
Yeah,
good at
but
maths.
Didn't you have a maths A?
Actually, I did have a maths
You
A
did
level.
better than me.
I was
in
going to
maths.
say, I'm pretty sure you did better than me in maths A level.
Yeah.
That was ages ago.
You did maths A levels?
Ages. I did
It's
actually
less time
do...
for you than for me.
I know, stories. It's a plot twist that I got a maths A level, but I did. I was actually quite good at maths. To be fair, I was good at maths in AS level in the first year of that, and then the second half of the second year they lost me a bit. I did still pass though, so you know, I do have one technically.
Speaking of passing, it's time to pass the seconds frittering away into eternity. Not with a podcast, but via demanding future us what messages from the present. It's Future Jason with messages from the present. This episode of Flintlocks and Fireballs is brought to you by you. Thank you very much to our crew members on the Flintlocks Patreon. There is a wealth of extra content and bonus features for patrons, including regular blog posts, extra stories narrated by the cast, artwork, and a monthly poll for the community to help design an element to go into the game. I believe the patrons are currently voting on an item. You can check it out at patreon.com/Flintlocks and Fireballs, link in the description. We are an affiliate of dnddice.com, makers of beautiful specialty dice since 2010. Whether you need dice because you're masquerading as a vampire, calling Cthulhu, or are some sort of pathfinder gathering the magic munchkins, you can click through our affiliate link in the description and grab yourself, or a friend, some particularly sexy dice or a particularly sexy leather dice bag. We're also an affiliate of Zavvi, fine producers of nerdy garments and handy household items. Remember, you can click through the affiliate link in the description and use code FLINTLOCKS20 to take 20% off clothing and FLINTLOCKS10 to take 10% off not clothing. Once again, we're involved with the online group heist game Agent Venture, the most fun you can have on a Zoom call while keeping your shirt on. Pull off a heist, infiltrate a base, and save the world with only a laptop, an internet connection, and your socially distant friends. Check out the link in the description. And finally, an important announcement. It's been a long year for everyone, and that includes us. Life has changed for all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs, and not always for the worse. Ellie and I moved out of London, and that was a great change. Unfortunately, it does mean that we will never know how the saga of Fiona will end, but last we heard, she seemed to be a successful entrepreneur and independent businesswoman in a notoriously hazardous market, so we do wish her the best. But all of these changes, combined with the rigours of the pandemic, have put an extra strain on us. This is why we pre-record them, so that whenever circumstances prohibit recording, or physical well-being or mental health mean that we aren't in a place to record, we don't. We let the buffer of pre-recorded episodes take the strain and get in extra sessions at another time. We started this podcast with a buffer of 10 episodes, and for the first couple of years we mostly bounced between 4 to 6 buffer episodes. This year, our buffer ran to 2, and then 1, and then 0. And it's forced us to take a look at how we produce the podcast. The fact is, we love doing this. We love playing this game, we love Calcinea, and we love the community of stowaways that have built up around it. So don't worry, we're not cancelling the show. But with life as it is right now, we can't produce episodes in the same quantity, at the same level of quality as we have done, and maintain good mental health. If you're a long-time listener, and it's episode 143 for crying out loud, so I imagine you probably are, you know how highly we prize mental health, and how much we encourage people to do the same. So after a lot of discussion, we've elected to change our schedule instead. To begin with, we'll be taking a 2-week hiatus at the end of this episode. There won't be any bonus content this week, and we will be returning with episode 144 on May the 4th, Star Wars Day, if you will, at our usual 7 p.m. BST. Thereafter, we will be on a 4-week rotation, with 1 episode a week for 3 weeks, and then a week off. We will also be releasing bonus content on the 1st and 3rd week of this 4-week pattern, rather than every week. On the 4th week, we encourage you to check out other podcasts in the TTRPG space, or if you want more Flintlocks, there's nearly 3 years of content in our archives. Don't worry, we'll be back the week after. We love you all very much, and even if it is a little less regular, we look forward to continuing our adventures with you on the shores of Calcinea. Fair seas and natural 20s. Back to you, Past Jason. When I say not with the podcast, that's like, it's still part of the podcast. It's just me wittering on about, like, things.
No, that's not the podcast. That's something outside the podcast. I realised I could have joined in with your singing and I just made a completely separate and discordant noise. But, here we are.
Speaking of separate discordant noises, it's time for us to begin. Flintlocks and Fireballs. Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains brother, no one's free. A life on land is short, you'll see.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.
Previously on Flintlocks and Fireballs. You really waited until I started.
I really think you were so long finding music. It was amazing.
Previously on Flintlocks and Fireballs. It's been like 2 weeks since we last recorded. Something happened. Oh yeah, dreadful revelations.
Everything happened, dude.
Previously on Flintlocks and Fireballs, the party ventured north from Newmark to the town of Beer Barrel to investigate the mysterious institute, the strange, walled-off, I want to say enclave of kidnapped scientists serving at the pleasure of the Five-Pointed Star. Nominally the 5 Point Manufacturing Company, nominally Gold Star Shipping, and ultimately, as it determined, the wing, one point on the star of the 5-pointed star that terminated with Golden Kratz and Guildenstern. However, this revelation, following on from the party saving the world from a terrifying mycoid-based world-ending catastrophe, also discovered in an unexpected moment where the party's revelations about their power to see the future coincided with a moment of emotional weakness on the part of Lady Grace, in which the aforementioned elf nobleman revealed quite a lot of secrets, spurred on, it would appear, by some measure of guilt or remorse for the life she had chosen. Chief amongst which were the revelations that she had long known Celestia's mother, Naivara Rothanol, that the pair of them had been partners in crime in a scheme not so much of world domination as an attempt to change the course of history away from the current paradigm of aristocratic nobility and the societies that create it. There definitely appeared to be some degree of schism between the pair, although one significantly widened by revelations about the degrees to which Naivara has gone, especially with regards to the training of the Ebon Guard and the radically high attrition rate that training undertook. The party have found themselves in an uncertain space. An almost trusted ally having proved to be virtually, although very much not literally, in bed with one of their worst enemies, and furthermore one of the two founders of the aforementioned Golden Krantz and Guildenstern, and thus the final point of the five-pointed star. Which has made breakfast very awkward. And lives have been taken
to say the least.
Away from each other.
She left, didn't she?
I mean, we had breakfast. We stood there eating sausages.
She decided to ride ahead.
Yes,
Yeah.
She went to ride ahead. She's not just fucked off in a completely different direction, because, like you, she also needs to get back to Newmark.
Oh yeah, no, I just thought she was there.
And indeed, the three of you mount up on Kerberos and a summoned horse and make the final leg of your journey back to Newmark. Once again, you will need to cross the enemy-occupied lines, this time in the light of the morning. Your options include going further upriver and attempting to evade patrols by going pretty much into the Nightmare Forest and then downriver, by taking a route to the coast and then hugging the coastline, hoping that you can evade notice, although this will bring you quite close to the coastal fort of St. Beatrix, or by going down the middle through the now unoccupied roughly circular region around the chapel where the charnel pit had been constructed. And indeed, there are still the remains of a camp there, now completely abandoned and surrounded by a circle of scorched earth.
Have we established that Kerberos can swim?
I don't think it's ever come up, but you have no reason to expect that he can't doggy paddle.
This would have been my thought.
Just dip him in the water and find out.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
if there's a body of water available, I think that might be worth at least establishing. Just to make sure that he doesn't completely poof out of existence if he touches water.
I'll say that you're easily able to test this with you can easily. I mean, you've crossed like streams and so on. He doesn't pop out of existence if he touches water. It's not that kind of magic.
Melt like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, and it's not the kind of magic where you can't cross running water. Kerberos has gleefully and with dog-like abandon carried you across like shallow streams and so on during this and other journeys.
Why are you asking if Kerberos can swim? What are you thinking of for a plan?
Yeah, what's the plan? Because I hate it already.
Well, I was just thinking it might be a faster way of getting across a river if we needed to than finding a way around, is what I'm saying.
So
we could all pile on the back of Kerberos and have him swim us across.
Is this like a hypothetical or for getting back to Newmark?
Well, hypothetical at the moment, but it may be the easiest way of doing it.
In a hypothetical situation where we need to cross rivers.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. How do you want to get back to Newmark?
I mean, is there a river we need to cross?
I guess if you went upriver and then just... If you go upriver into the through the Nightmare Forest, you should be able to just go down the riverbank. You only need to cross the river. If, however, you decided to go through the sea, I suppose you could try and do that. Again, I was assuming that you would hug the coastline rather than actually go into the water. Although I suppose
it might be worth going in the Nightmare Forest just to check the nightmares aren't there anymore.
I was leaning towards the Nightmare Forest option, I confess, because at least we have a vague idea what's there.
All right.
Yes,
and also,
hopefully, if anyone is in there that shouldn't be, they're not looking for us.
Hopefully there's no troops in there as well, because they get uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yep.
In which case, you... turn Kerberos and start galloping, cantering, bounding
Bounding
in the
sounds good.
direction of the Nightmare Forest. Lady Grace and Viv, seeing you do this, turn to follow on their own phantom steeds. Can I just have a stealth check from everyone to for the passage into the Nightmare Forest, please?
I'm not exhausted anymore.
You're not!
Same. How exciting.
It feels like I've been exhausted forever.
That's a
9.
12.
That is a 24.
Excellent.
Nice.
And Viv and Lady Grace respectively rolled a 16 and a natural 20. So, as a group, you
Make up for my 9.
you all successfully make it into the forest. It is still an eerie sort of place. It is strange. There are still, as you make your way through between the silent trees, the wildlife has not really returned here. There are still the patches of unnatural ground. In places you wonder if perhaps they've receded a little. They don't seem to have spread, at least, in the few nights you've been away. You keep an eye out. You don't catch any sight of new creatures. Nothing like the mound of mouths and eyes that this place spawned before.
Good.
Continuing downriver, you make it to the jetty. And you can see by the little boat that's being on the far side, there is a small guard of just militia, including, you notice again, Chelsea, that one halfling woman who just seems to be being posted here a lot at the moment.
She had a rough battle. It's nice for her to have somewhere a bit quieter to be.
I'm glad she's chilled for a bit.
Even if it is a nightmare escape.
She gathers. You see several of the militia seem to start getting their weapons when seeing the figures arise. But she raises a hand, waves at you.
Wave back.
Yeah, wave
as
back.
you
Hello.
make your way up. She looks up with some wonder at the giant dog.
Hey.
Hey.
Good to see a friendly face.
Oh, they've got to say the three of you are sight for sore eyes.
How are you doing?
She looks and says, 5 of you. It's been a tense time. She picks up a folded newspaper, holds it up. We'll roll you across. Across. Give us a moment.
Thanks.
There's an awkward bit where there is a silent ride with just row across with Lady Grace
Smoke
and Viv.
like a chimney tobacco.
Yeah. Viv and Lady Grace are on the other side of the little rowboat. either side of, I guess it'd be Chelsea, right? And Viv is cheerfully just like looking at the city, humming to herself. Lady Grace has frankly looked, up until this moment, kind of haggard. She's not really been hiding her feelings, but since she came within sight of the soldiers, she is just once again perfectly composed. Polite, neutral expression. Not making eye contact with any of you, but just...
I keep
middle distance.
looking at it. You know how your gaze flicks to someone when you're trying not to look at them?
Yeah.
That with a pipe hanging out of the mouth is what's happening, I think.
Oh no.
Otherwise, just looking anywhere else.
The rowboat brings you across, and Lady Grace and Vivienne emerge first. She looks to the three of you and just gives you a slow nod.
Don't give one back. I don't. Anyway.
I acknowledge it, but...
I think I just look at her.
I do the world's most awkward smile.
As I mentioned before, if you need the assistance of the Bell Founders, please speak to those on the council. If you require my assistance, I will be in town, at least for the immediate future.
Understood.
Right.
Good morning to you all. Chelsea is like waves. Oh, good morning.
Hi.
Several of the guards are like, oh, nice to meet you. Hello. And
Hello!
they awkwardly walk off.
Howdy
But
doody.
they're much more interested in the
Howdy
three of
doody.
you who are local celebrities, though. There is actually a degree of, like, some people offer you some bacon and wrapped in a bit of bread.
Alright, thank you.
I'm like, hey, no problem. You, oh wow, rumors are true. Then you have not, you haven't been around for a couple of days.
Oh no, what's happened in a couple of days?
That question's way more important. Ignore mine.
Chelsea hands you the newspaper.
Oh
The
no.
title is Massacre on Miller Street.
Oh no.
Oh fuck, what?
As you quickly skim through, you see that it's talking about the latest in the second. Yes, it will be the second night of brutal gang violence in the city.
Oh dear.
Talking it comments on how a series of vicious exchanges between criminal elements seem to have been taking place over the last few couple of nights. Hold up, I need to get the exact locations up. No. We're not sponsored by World Anvil.
But we are heavily reliant on
But we are heavily reliant on it, and that does mean a certain amount of fiddling with tabs when I want to get things open. There we go. Indeed, Miller's Lane is in the kitchen. It is borders the kitchen and the garment district, and is not coincidentally on the border, pretty much smack on in the middle of the border. Between the area claimed by the Deadeyes, the Five Friars, the Bowstring Boys, and also just a little bit north of the area that's of the Goblin districts of town. It's actually quite a heavy cotton manufacturing type area. As you skim through, you see that although there seems to have been some sort of full-on battle, although from reading it looks like more like a series of intense skirmishes with eyewitnesses talking about seeing various gangs fighting. There's a comment about little blighters shooting from the rooftops. There's one person who says they swear they saw two orcs drop and then get back up and keep fighting for the other side.
Oh.
It appears that the gangs have been busy in your absence.
Oh dear.
There's a little bit of prelude as well. In particular, the paragraph stands out about 2/3 of the way down, going. The events of the evening events of the night appear to have been sparked by the triple murder of 3 prominent halfling city councillors, including the nominal deputy governor, at sundown, on their way in attacks taking place in their this would have been in attacks taking place at City Hall itself. These no doubt follow on from the murder of Governor Esther Stumpf yesterday.
Oh boy.
And as a result, the remaining city councillors have not responded for comment, although personal security seem to indicate that they are sending their apologies and will not be returning to work while the current crisis is ongoing. There is a small note about how the military elements of the council have temporarily placed the city under martial law. At the instruction of one Colonel Alton Appleblossom.
Okay, well, at least someone sensible's in charge.
Well, we need to go and talk to him almost immediately.
Well, I mean, if the governor was killed, yeah.
I mean, I didn't like the governor very much. Am I remembering this rightly?
Out of character, my dear. Which one's the governor?
The governor was the blonde orc lady Esther Stumpf, who was basically, who you vaguely recall was kind of put there through a mixture of sponsorship by powerful families and the crime gangs, specifically the Bowstring Boys.
Who we don't like.
No, they sound like dicks.
In fairness, they all seem like dicks to some degree on account of the crime thing, but
some of them are our crime friends.
Some of them are your crime friends. You have separately
How
been.
dare you call our crime friends dicks?
You have separately, I believe, been offered or inquired about meetings with the Bowstring Boys and the Five Friars. Okay.
Yeah, but they've both been hard to negotiate with.
What, you've not.
No, we haven't bothered, have we?
You haven't bothered.
They've been hard because we haven't bothered.
You have mostly dealt with. You've extensively dealt with the Deadeyes. You've dealt with the Sunset Girls. You have not really spoken to the 30 Cutthroats yet, which is the gang that operates that operates in the Goblin district of town. By the way, these names are all inspired from like real life gang names of the time. They were fun. It was fun writing these. But you do have a potential meeting with the Five Friars, and that was arranged by A.T. Murray. If you want to take it up, and I believe the Bowstrings may have expressed an interest in talking to you, although I might have that wrong.
But
the 3 councillors who have been murdered, those were the ones that were never going to lose their seats because gang violence keeps them in power.
So to reiterate, there have been 4 council murders that the newspapers talked about. One of the Orcish governor, Esther Stumpf, who you know had connections to the Bowstring Boys, which is a primarily orc and human based gang operating out of the Bow area. You know that they're involved in electioneering. Additionally, three other council members have been murdered, and the newspaper did pointed out that all three of them were halflings. You know that the main gang for halflings in town is the Five Friars gang, because that is a largely halfling district of town. You have received invites, I believe, or at least there has been an expression of willingness to speak to you from both the Bowstring Boys and the Five Friars through Stumpf and A.T. Murray, the financier who you got all those bonds for. All that information you stole from Golden Crats and Goldenstone.
And Murray is alive still?
Apparently, yes.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm sorry. Which one was Murray attached to?
The Five Friars.
That was an Ellie brain fart. I'm sorry, there were a lot of words in that last sentence. Yeah, but we have actually talked to Murray before.
Yes.
So that could be a good in.
Yeah, and you have also previously, just as a reminder, because it's been a few episodes, you've also previously asked Azra about the leaders of the other main gangs. She has she's told you, just a little reminder, the bare bones, because she put her own spin on it specifically. The Bowstring Boys are led by Heinrich Jenks, who thinks of himself as the Orsirian's orc, if you will. The Five Friars are led by Owen Copperkettle, who apparently has a bit of a nasty temper. And the 30 Cutthroats are led by Tsen Chung, who apparently who, if I remember correctly, Azra has not exactly a hostile history with, just personally dislikes. Although, in fairness,
actually 30 of them.
You did not ask her that.
Okay, fair.
I think we did, actually.
I think we did. I think we were assholes about it.
You did.
We asked her at, embarrassing
Yes,
length
you
about
did,
it.
and it's a case of dead man's shoes.
Right, yeah, because I got the impression it's no, there's not literally 30 of them.
No, I think it was. Yep, there are 30 of them, then there's a bunch of hangers on.
Yeah.
And you have to wait for a slot to open up to be part of the 30.
Right.
No, we did ask because we were absolute twats about it.
There we go.
We are the worst.
We suck.
It's useful information.
Not the way we asked about it, it's not.
No.
So, that's kind of so that's a bit of a reminder of the situation within the Newmark's gang scene.
Okay.
You have that information. Up to you what you want to do with that. But regardless, you discuss this as you make your way on foot back to the city itself, which is pretty quiet. I mean, it's a morning and the city is still under siege, but even so, people are moving quickly and quietly to their places of work. There's not a lot of hanging around. And you do notice that and the people that are hanging around, and not even hanging around, are bands of militia that seem to be on a degree of patrol. Which, in fairness, they were on before, but it now looks like they're looking inward as well as outward.
Well, I think we've got to talk to Alton about this.
Yeah, I think he's got to be our first port of call, really, hasn't he?
Yeah, and then we need to talk to the crime friends about this.
Yes, we do. Because this could completely shift the balance of power here.
All right, you make your way to the battery. Yes, it is the battery. Got too many places starting with "ba" in this campaign. And very quickly, upon seeing you, one of the guards sort of sends a message, and by the time you get to the gate, Alton is already there. Oh, thank fuck.
Hello.
It's been a bit of an ordeal. Come to my office.
Right, yep.
Leads you into, there's a little bit of a quick scurry down the hallways and into Alton's office. Fucking hell.
So, things have been going a bit Wahoonie shaped, hasn't it?
A little bit. I'd say that. Yeah, I mean, on the bright side, Orsirian, I was to know about the Orsirians, if you want to be, but the Orsirian government, the Redcoats, haven't been actually giving us that much trouble.
Great.
All right, well, it's something.
Yeah, they don't seem to realise you've left.
Oh, good, because we're here now.
Specifically?
Yeah.
Does us leaving cause gang violence now?
I don't know. How heavily were you involved in the gangs?
I mean,
Pretty heavily.
a bit.
Well, not the ones that seem to have been involved in the killing of the governor.
I mean, we hadn't talked to them.
I know
yet,
they
in our defense.
definitely were. Like, all the gangs that we favoured are the ones who haven't had big, important fatalities.
Yeah.
Right. Bloody hell. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, yeah, I've kind of had to declare martial law.
Yeah, I understand that.
that-
Though
It's not really ideal,
No.
but
no,
right now we don't actually have a civilian government.
no, that's the thing, and I
We'll
think
do
that's
it.
possibly one of the reasons why the Assyrians are leaving you alone for the moment. They're kind of hoping this whole thing's going to implode,
Well-
and they can just come in and sweep up the
Oh
pieces.
no! If they knew this was imploding, they'd be here in an instant. The reason they're not coming is because you cut off all their eyes and ears into the city.
That's something.
That's one thing, I guess. All right, well,
It frankly,
the matter is,
last thing, it's a bloody good thing that we've been able, and also, if your details about when the date is due is right, they've only got 3 days until all the ships arrive. So they're probably just sitting tight and waiting for that.
Oh, it's a good.
in the meantime, then, is what's going to be make life easiest for you in terms of pacifying this situation? Because we can't go on like this. If the Orsirians arrive and we're still up to our neck in gang violence, then we're going to have two problems, not one.
Honestly, not entirely my area. What I'd like is for, because you seem to have your elbows up into your elbows in this, is to try and stop the continual street fighting, because I'm having to divert troops to stop the bloody gang war that's been happening in the night spilling into the day. And that's creating holes in our. That's kind of creating some holes in our defences, and also, frankly, I don't want people care. Everyone who's fighting right now is fighting to defend their streets against the Assyrians. I don't want them thinking that they need to be taking time off patrols to go defend their streets from their fucking next door neighbours.
It ain't good for morale, is it?
No.
It's not
it really
ideal,
isn't.
no. I don't know what seems to have pushed them out of this, but has there, like, beyond, I suppose, maybe the opportunity that the bloody siege has presented to just settle scores, is there like a new player in town? Anything like that?
I mean, there could be.
Like, has anyone entered that's upset the balance of the criminal underworld lately?
Us.
Yeah, that would be us.
Yeah, I suppose. Although,
Right.
tell me, where were Stumpf and the others killed?
Okay,
Yeah, some info
What
would be
actually
useful.
happened, not from the papers, but what happened.
yeah, because we've been asking the papers to just suppress some of the details. Okay, so it was 2 nights ago. We'd gone a late night here in the planning council, Now, obviously, we've got the War Council, which you've all met. Well, you met everyone there. But there's actually also, there's obviously a civilian council that operates under the governor. And they work over in City Hall, which we don't, honestly, you've never been there because it's not been a need.
It sounds very dull.
It's pretty dull. But unseen by all of this, they've been keeping things running in some very significant ways while we've been trying to do the whole war thing. Well, Stump was on her way from here back to there to pick some stuff up and then head back to her townhouse because this big Stump house in Bow.
Right.
And from what I understand, she got jumped by a hit squad.
Fuck.
Snipers on the roof with bloody rifled carbines that they must have gotten from the militia. Took out the guards, and one of my soldiers said that they snuff-bagged her head, which I am informed is a term for when you cut someone's head off and stick it in a lead-lined box and toss it in the sea so you can't bring him back.
Right.
Wow.
Now that's smart. And gruesome. We shouldn't do that.
Never.
Have we got any lead boxes?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we are getting distracted. Right.
least
That's
4,
not important right now. Would you call them head-sized?
I don't know. Fit weapons in them.
Look, if we are ever in a situation where we need to ensure someone isn't resurrected, I'm sure we'll come up with a solution. But for now, I think we've got to figure out, like, if they've got the rifles to do that off the militia, then this is more serious than we thought.
I
We
mean, it's not
gave
that-
them those guns.
Frankly,
If it's the Deadeyes, we armed them for the battle.
We did do that.
also, we've been arming other members of the militia. Like a lot of the old city, frankly, a lot of the old city watch have been getting these rifled carbines and so on that you acquired from that warehouse. Now that I think about it, was in Five Friars. Ah, shit! They were holding on to them. They probably just kept a few.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, regardless, they took out. They hit Stump, and then, from what I understand, there was some other fighting going on elsewhere in the city, which around the Ferocian district when that was happening. So it wasn't until yesterday evening that what I can only assume was a retaliation hit, because 3 of the councillors got hit on their way back to fight. Back to was it? They were Murrays and Cardigans, actually, not the heads of the families, but cousins who'd been given the jobs.
So it sounds like what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a power vacuum they can put their own people into.
Well, it might have been the case for the first one. If I had to make a guess, I'd say that killing the councillors is probably just plain old vengeance.
Well,
Yeah,
that
I
seems
mean,
fair,
killing like
yeah.
one person off the council
Yeah.
when the other 3 are your people means that you want to put one of your people in. Killing the other 3 back is just like everyone's dead now.
Yeah, and the other 5 members of the council... so 7 members of the council. Sorry, the other 3 members of the council have privately sent me messages saying, we are staying locked up with our guards, thank you very much, and have handed in their resignations
Ah.
so that they're not targets. And
Congratulations, are you the mayor again?
no, although the deputy governor is gone, and this is going to trigger a full-on election now, which is why I've had to put martial law until the fucking siege is done.
We can't have an election right now, can we?
Not really.
You know me, I'm a big fan of free and fair elections so long as I don't win them, but this is hardly the time.
Yeah, it's not really a safe time for one. That's just a massive target, isn't it?
So
Gotta wait a few days.
also it'd take months to set it up and everything. There's procedures, and the point is we're in the middle of a fucking war right now. So regardless, the other problem is that was the start of the festivities. There's been
Oh no.
clashes all night long. And I can't help but think that part of the reason, apart from whatever you've been doing to upset the balance of things, is also the actual watch commander, Nabila Souk. You met her briefly. She got killed in the battle with when they sent all those skeletons over.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Right, I remember.
turns out she was a lot more effective at her job than I realised.
Oh.
And something about her being gone is, along with everything else, has made him think, well, this is the time to settle old scores.
Oh dear.
Fuck.
Right, so we need to bring someone in to fill that role
I need
quick.
a watch captain. He's good at watch captaining.
At this point, we're past finding a watch captain, and I'm sure we can find someone when this is over. The martial law is going to fill that in. What I need... I can keep order until the sun sets. But when it gets dark enough, that's going to be a lot harder.
Okay, so we need to go talk to some crime friends and fix some things before nightfall?
Yeah.
Yes. 'cause
Whatever
this-
the situation is, it needs stabilizing, but I think the fucking fires are going to burn tonight no matter what. But it needs stabilizing tonight before dawn.
Right. Okay.
Or they might
Everything
try and
is sorted
carry this
before
on into the
dawn, or
daylight.
everything ends. Good.
So it doesn't sound like it was our crime friends that started it, at least. But it is the two
No.
gangs that we don't have good relations with yet.
We
Or
have
any
more of a
relations
way
with.
in with the Five Friars, and if Heinrich Jenks, the head of the Bowstring Boys, is describing himself as the Orsirian's orc, I don't think we really have a strong likelihood of getting anywhere with him.
Up to you. I don't know where they hang out. You talk to your crime friends. I'm sure they'll know where you need to go for conversations, but...
Also, Azra might have some more inside information, actually.
Most likely.
Also, if they're scrapping in the street because it's an opportunity, maybe it's the time to ask them to stop for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask nicely. Carry a big stick, would you?
Yeah.
Sorry,
We
I
don't
can't-
need to, we've got a Corzin.
Corzin pulls out his belaying pin. Big enough?
No.
I think
tiny.
might need to use the blunderbuss on this one. Speaking of which, Commodore, you'd be happy to know I got a message through from your wife. You have a crew for your second ship.
Fantastic.
Oh, she's fucking excellent, isn't she?
Yes, news should come through first. All right, well,
Apparently, V got some very strange responses to newspaper adverts.
Oh dear.
Excellent.
they seem to have done their job then.
They were very sensible newspaper adverts. I don't know why I possibly would have got anything weird back from them.
Right, well, I think that's possibly the next person we need to see after the crime friends. See where we stand with that.
Also, we can bring your little one back if you want. Maybe. Or maybe later.
Yes.
Let's wait till the fighting in the street stops.
Let's wait till we fix that. And then
That said,
bring him back.
no offence, you all kind of look like shit. You've been pulling a lot.
It's been a long couple of days.
Yeah. Make sure you get some rest in as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's been
Get something
a
to
sort
do.
of standard 3 days, Alton. We, the world nearly got ended by some mushroom zombies, so we stopped them with chocolate. And then we went back on the road and there were some, horrendous family revelations to deal with. Oh, and I helped a lady through a trauma dream. I had a lot of sleep, if I'm honest, mate.
Right.
I wish I could say she was exaggerating, but she's definitely not.
Yeah, have some chocolate, I'll stop you being a zombie.
Right.
I look at him completely seriously.
Okay. Maybe have a nice cup of tea with a friend or something?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sensible.
Sounds lovely, Alton, but you've just told us that this needs to be fixed, in the next couple of hours, so,
This needs to be fixed by tomorrow morning. I don't know how much you can get done in the next couple of hours.
Fair.
What time
Well,
is
let's go
it?
and
Where
see.
did we sleep last?
No, it didn't really make a difference.
Listen, when things kick off with this, it'll be tonight. Don't want the three of you wearing yourselves out before the sun sets.
Right.
Okay,
So-
but we
You've
do
got-
need to get an idea of what's going on. We need to talk to people today.
Yeah.
You do. Just if you got anything you want to do with like friends or loved ones or anything before you go into another fight, just take a bit of time in the afternoon, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
Maybe we should,
Excellent.
so that we don't go insane.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good idea, Alton.
There's a lot of things I missed on Walrus Island, and time with friends was one of them.
You're a wise man, Alton. Talking of which,
Anything on
could
Walrus
you tell
Island
us
is a
where
metaphor
the...
for the coronavirus. Anyway, carry on. Sorry, Sam. Please continue. I just
It's all
I
good, don't
couldn't
worry,
cope
don't
with
worry.
anything.
Talking of which, Alton, can you tell us where the violence the last couple of nights has been? Maybe we can head people off, if nothing else.
Pretty much central portions of the city. It's usually been on the borderlines between Five Friars and Bow. And,
Wow, really?
Yeah, surprise, surprise. And typically around the kitchen and Little Froz.
Right.
Right. Understood. So there's a narrow corridor there. Right.
Okay. So, maybe we go and talk to some people.
Yes,
Find
I
out
think
some
that's a
more
good
stuff.
idea.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple of hours of being people.
Family time.
Yeah. And then we do some more terrible things.
Sounds great.
Yep. Sounds amazing.
So let's make a list of who we need to talk to. That would be sensible.
Azra. Surely.
Yep. Azra for
Azra first.
Also, possibly Felipe if he's been closer to the fighting.
Yeah. I mean, they might be in the same building, they often are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we want to ask, really, though? Don't we just want to say, please stop fighting for a bit? It's not helping.
Well, we've got to get an idea of what it's like for them on the ground. If we understand, where the fighting has occurred, what sort of things the people have been targeting, that kind of thing.
Also, what
It's all
needs
useful.
to happen for them to stop fighting? Because it's all very well
Exactly.
saying stop fighting, but if somebody's like shooting up your house, you're not going to sit there, are you? So
Yeah.
we've
That's
got
the
to figure
point.
out a way to stop it happening rather than just saying please stop. Because please stop might be enough if it's the right situation, but if it's not, we need to do something else.
Hey, from Azra's side, it might be enough, but we need to know who Azra's fighting so we can find out we need the other people to do.
Yeah, we need to stop them sieging Azra effectively. Yeah.
We need to talk to probably Copper Kettle.
Yeah.
Copperkettle is where I'm leaning. Just the phrase, the Osirian's orc, does not give me a lot of hope for us with Heinrich.
No.
Like,
feel
and
like-
also we do actually have that very vague connection with the Five Friars from when we talked to Moray.
Copper Kettle's the one with the bad temper.
Yes.
Oh dear, that's gonna go really well.
I'm really good at not making people angry.
No one ever gets annoyed by us.
No, we've never made a person angry, ever. We're also all really patient, all three of us, so this will be fine.
Just, if you're going to start a gang war in my city tonight, make sure to end it.
I'll just kill everyone
That
if
we
it
can
starts.
try.
Try not to kill too many people.
Can this one be solved with chocolate, do you think?
Have to be some
Are
damn
there
good
sprinklers
chocolate.
over the whole city?
What?
Like,
sprinkler?
can we? Never
There's a
mind.
pipe in the wall where you put water in it comes out of the ceiling.
What, like a leak?
Yeah,
No,
but
but
like
to put
bigger
out
and
fires.
specifically for fires.
That's not a bad idea.
It's very clever. You should do it.
And then what you do is you put chocolate in it, and the zombies go away.
Yep.
Yeah, everything else is a sticky mess, though.
They've got
It's been a
fucking
weird few
chocolate
days.
fountain in that place.
Chocolate? Okay, this is a story for far more alcohol and a far less life or death situation.
I look forward to telling it to you.
Let's do that, please.
Right. I apparently, once again, have a city to run, so...
I mean, let's catch up if we don't, die in the gang war tonight, you know?
Great. I'll catch up if I don't get fucking hanged for declaring martial law.
Yay!
Yay!
Good luck for hanging you. You can't die.
Let's not put that theory to the test.
No, sorry, he's
Yeah.
literally immortal. I refuse to believe anything else.
Yeah, if only the Walruses had believed that.
You're alive.
And there's a lot of Walruses that aren't now.
Well,
True.
you need to tell me that story properly at some point.
More drinks, less life or death situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Story of
Right.
an apple blossom on Walrus Island as bonus content. Anyone?
Yes.
Anyone?
Yes. Yes. Immediately.
Right now.
Let's pause this.
So, you presumably make your way out of the battery and head... where do you want to go? Do you want to go back to the ship? Do you want to go visit Azra, the Gilded Lily?
Where are we
Let's
going
go.
first?
I think so.
Azra, let's get this done so we can have a relaxing afternoon rather than have a relaxing morning and then panic all afternoon.
I hate Azra.
I know, but she's our crime friend.
She's an asshole. I don't want to talk to her. So it's just tired.
This conversation with Copperkettle is going to end so well.
I don't want to be nice.
I don't want to
weird
be
day.
nice. It's been a really weird day.
Fuck this. Okay, I'm done now. Let's go talk to Azra. Got it out.
You make your way down to Little Feroz. Actually, I think it's technically... Yeah, it's in Little Feroz rather than So What. And
So what is the best name?
and you head to the Gilded Lily, the not exactly glitzy, but gilt-painted brothel that backs onto the Gilded Fish restaurant on the opposite side. As you approach, you notice there are a number of Ferocian-looking humans outside, just leaning against walls in light coats. Some of them are smoking pipes. A number of them have obvious bulges under the coats of weaponry.
And oh, boo.
Oh, you're no fun.
And honestly, maybe some of the others. I mean, you are literally outside a brothel, so
That would seem like...
yeah.
Yeah.
But the people with those bulges are usually going inside
I mean,
rather than just
Celestia
loitering
has
outside.
a bulge because
Yeah.
of the codpiece, so you know.
Yeah. But you do notice some of them shift a little as you approach, but one of them seems to recognise the three of you and pops inside. After a moment, the door opens and you recognise the receptionist from before, who beckons you in. And there you see, and inside are a somewhat tired-looking Adine, the bearded, I think bald and bearded Ferocian man who is Azra's second in command. Kind of looks at you.
Hello.
Hello.
Good to see you are back.
Yeah, I hear it's been
I've
fun.
heard things have got rather interesting while we've been away.
You could say that, yes. I best take you upstairs.
Yes, please.
She's in the mood.
Yay.
Oh, good.
I'm in a great mood, so that's fine.
We're so ready to be patient with people.
You hear as you get towards the back room that you know is Azra's office, you hear the smashing of crockery and just a muffled...
That sounds expensive.
I'm going to fucking get them like a fucking fish!
Just gonna get a bottle out, pop the whiskey.
There's a knock at the door. What is it? Boss, the Fisher King friend people are back. You hear some sounds like glassware being moved around. Just turn them in. Door opens.
I've got whiskey, do you want some?
Azra's beating you to it. She has a full bottle of an unfamiliar looking sort of amber-coloured spirit in a purplish bottle next to her. There is a smashed you can see there is some smashed looks like a coffee cup against the wall, and like a thick black ooze dribbling down. She has a map of the city streets weighted down with just tumblers of alcohol. And you can see, and she also has a large shisha going with a hookah, which she puffs at as you enter.
Just have a pipe and just join her.
Rough night?
You could say that.
Well, it certainly sounds to have been one, if judging by today's paper.
Yeah, we wondered what had gone on.
I assume you were off doing something very important.
Incredibly.
Yeah,
We're
the
here
world
now.
could have literally ended, actually. So,
Thanks for saving the world.
you're welcome.
That's what we do on a kind of uncomfortably frequent basis. How can we help?
She plonks the bottle of alcohol in front of you. Distich?
Yes, thank you.
She just leaves the bottle for you to pour yourself or swig from. She doesn't seem to care.
Swig from it.
Corzin will take a small glass.
It's very strong and very cherry flavoured.
Oh,
Like Madeira?
Yeah,
Right.
like high proof
good.
Madeira.
So, oh, you could chew this?
That's sort of the idea.
It's great.
Right.
Yes, it's been an interesting time. You could put it that way. It seems that your absence was noted. Azra, just to remind you, it looks much the same as ever, although her the sort of long black hair that frames her hazel eyes and dusky skin is much more out of place than usual, a little wilder. You can see her just sort of rub mouth underneath the veil she wears. Ugh. So, where to begin?
I hear the beginning's a very good place to start.
yeah.
Well, at least.
Begin at the beginning and go on till you get to the end.
It appears that our good friends to the north seem to have realized, finally, which way the wind is blowing.
Which ones are the friends to the north?
Both of the fucking orcs and the fucking halflings. The bowstrings and the friars have both realized that the future is going our way. But with you out of the picture, they seem to have the mistaken notion that we are nothing without the three of you. So they decided to try their luck.
Huh.
Have they joined forces?
No. But they're both sniping at us. The bowstring boys came first, and Copper Kettle's friars decided to nip in and She makes a snipping motion. Get rid of that meddlesome governor. Blood demands blood, tit for tat, and the following night, just as we're now fending off the friars, there goes their 3 little pet council members. And now it's almost a free-for-all. Everyone's getting involved. Nearly everyone. Looks like Grinzy's busy. Good. Bitch. And the goblins are mostly keeping to themselves.
Smart.
Well, if they've got no skin in the game, what's the point?
Yeah.
She mulls it for a moment. Shame. I could almost... Times like this, I could use Sen's help. For all he's an absolute cunt.
Wow.
Right.
Well, look. It seems like we've got a situation that's blown out of hand here. Now, do you think that if by fair means or foul we were able to pacify the violence in some way, at least this evening or in the next day or so, that might give us enough time to get a more permanent solution?
Depends.
Because martial law's been declared, as I'm sure you've noticed.
Oh,
this
yes, it's
is
really
not going to
cutting
get
down on
any
business.
better without...
Us stepping in, though, is kind of the problem, isn't it? Like, the reason they thought they could, get rid of you or tip the power balance back is because we weren't here. We're not always gonna be here.
No, we are not always going to be here, so we have to create a situation which means it doesn't go as south as it has done when we aren't.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
we
not-
have shit to do. We can't be indispensable.
Exactly. So we need to prove that we're not important in this fight.
She chokes a little on the sheet.
I fear the ship may have sailed on that front.
It's not about you. Oh, you're good. You're very good. It's about the kings.
That makes
We
way more
represent the
sense.
kings.
The kings are here now. If I'm to join their ranks as a queen, then they want to be in on that. I'm sure they want me to be bouching and scraping as the junior partner. But
Everybody has to start somewhere.
Right, so they want to take the... So we basically come in and said, yes, we'll make you Fisher queen because
Well, that's how
you're
they
the only
see it
one who was
anyway.
open to it. And now that you've said yes and that's happening, they've decided they want it instead.
Where's Lapsang?
Lapsang, are you actually asking that as a question of your reminding, or are you just saying that out loud?
I was sort of saying in character,
Okay,
but I
yeah,
do
you're saying.
actually want to know as well.
From what you remember, Lapsang is still busy in Thunder's Watch, seizing control of the criminal underworld there.
And stopping some certain... isn't Lapsang sort of preventing assassination attempts on...
Also preventing assassination attempts on Michael.
might want to not distract Lapsang.
We can't nick Lapsang then, can we?
Lapsang actually sent you here specifically so that he could have the time to do that.
But we did so well. What's your ideal scenario here, Azra? What do you want?
I can't fight off both of them alone.
So if we can fight off one of them, would that help? If we can get one of them out of the fight?
It's, as you say, we need to be thinking in the long term. You're not going to be around. Either you're going to finish up here and move on with whatever else the kings have you doing, or you'll get... Well, no offense, but you might get killed in that battle.
Yeah, there's totally... that
Always a possibility, but not one I'm really banking on.
So, I need an alliance.
Who would you like an alliance with?
At this point, I'll take what I can get. Crinzy's good as a striker, but she doesn't have the people power.
She's also happy just to sort of hang back and do her own things. I don't think she's the way
That's
to go at
probably
all.
for the best.
Yeah.
I can work with one of these cunts.
Do you have a least hated where we should start? Because we've got our own thoughts, but yours would be appreciated too.
Yeah, preferred cunt, if you will.
He's a bastard to deal with, but probably Tim. Failing either way, I either need one of these three to actually be my ally.
So not just a cessation of hostilities, but actually working together.
That will let us put things back under control and also hand this city to the Fisher Kings as per our agreement. Or, if Tsen stays out of things, I at the very least need Copper Kettle and Jenks and their lieutenants dead.
Oh,
Right.
Because if that happens, I have enough people power to stabilize things.
Right.
okay. So-
Options.
I guess maybe we talk to the 30 cutthroats next then, because at least that'll give us... Like, if we can get them on side,
Yeah.
great, you've got a good power base. If we can get them to stay out of it, we then have to do a bunch of murders.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a big fan of the idea, but...
No, but either way is an effective solution.
Yeah, I think the 30 cutthroats might be our port of call here.
Do we think we could get the Five Friars or the Bowstrings on board, or are we past that at this
It'd
stage?
be really good to be able to get one of them
Depends
on side.
specifically what they want. If they think that they're fighting for their survival, then I'm
They
not sure.
don't at the moment, do they? They're fighting for power. They want to be in charge, not
They
surviving.
want to be in charge, but they also want to settle old scores. They're the oldest kings. They consider us the interlopers.
Ooh.
So they want each other gone. They hate. The saving grace for me is that they hate each other more than they hate me.
Okay.
So
So if we persuaded them that joining with you maybe would eliminate the other one permanently.
That could work.
That's not a bad angle, actually.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think we'd struggle with the bowstrings, but Five Friars, I mean, there might be something.
Maybe.
Might be worth talking to them.
you should
But,
know them. The friars, they're based out of Cardigan House in the Five Friars district. They've got a pub at the in the townhouse itself, the Fretting Fiddler. It's a halfling bar. It's going to be short for two of you. Watch out for the ceilings. That's where you'll find Owen. If you decide you want to speak with Heinrich, he and his gang mostly hang out at the Bow Street Gym and Boxing Ring. It's also where they practice their violin. They call them bowstrings for a reason.
suppose.
Oh, I assumed it was more murdery.
That too.
Interesting.
Oh, Heinrich thinks of himself as very cultured.
Oh, I hate him.
Right.
Oh, I really hate him.
I told you he's a cunt.
Well, an angle.
Yeah, but you say that about everyone.
That's because they're all cunts.
Okay, well that's fair, I suppose.
One angle, perhaps, to present it to the other five friars, then, is that the bowstring boys actually stand to gain a lot more if the Orsirians retake the city. And
Yeah.
if we can persuade them to help us on that ground, then it may be that we've got our foot in the door at least.
True, I think you might be going one leap too far in that I'm not sure this is the time to be like, could you also help us with the revolution while you're at it? That might be a bit far.
No, but the point being is that if the violence continues, then when the Assyrians turn up, we're going to be at each other's throats rather than as a united front. And that is going to serve nobody's purposes.
I'm confused.
Me
The
too.
point being is that if we're fighting amongst ourselves when the Assyrians turn up, then we're going to be easy pickings. If we can convince the five friars that the bowstring boys are kind of banking on that, that's the way to go.
Well, if you want one last thing, if you wish to speak with Chen Chung and
I
the
think we
30
probably should.
cutthroats, you'll want to head to the Unlucky Dragon.
Unlucky dragon.
It's
Where's that?
hard to miss. It's well, I'll give you the location. It's there we go. It's in the lower stacks.
Right.
It's hard to miss. It has the dragon being carved up on the front.
Huh.
Unlucky for the dragon.
I got that. All right.
Right.
Well then, seems like we've got to make a few house calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to figure out how to talk to some people.
All right, we'll
I
let
think
you know
maybe
when we turn up.
yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Great. Take the scene if you want. She gestures to the drink.
I've got my own, I'm fine.
Great.
Yeah,
She
it could
takes
be a
it
long
back.
day if I get too far into that.
It's going to be a long night ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, she gestures vaguely at the door. Good luck, don't die.
Same to you.
Such
you,
warm
yeah.
words, thank you.
Don't be a cunt about it. I like the three of you, actually.
Really?
You're not absolute cunts.
Ah, wow, that is high praise from you.
I don't say
Never mind
anything
work,
back.
that's an occupational hazard.
Just gives you a bit of a flat look, and it just takes a long draw on the hookah pipe.
Bye.
Blows some smoke in your general direction, closes the door.
Just message the other team. Later.
I know you do.
She's a dick.
Yeah.
Do you want to check back at the ship for anything before you continue with your errands?
Do we need to? I mean, we should probably let Molly know we're here, but
Yeah, I mean,
mean,
we're
like,
close
beyond
to
that.
the ship.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a sensible thing to do. Because if I recall correctly, the ship is going to be in the upper west side right now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So actually, it's on our way, really.
Yeah.
The ship is pretty much where you left it, which is to say anchored slightly offshore on the West River. It is also, as before, the Kraken's Bane is, well, not so much flanked, but like slightly behind the Witch's Tit.
I keep forgetting.
Yep,
I
the
keep
war
forgetting
jump
that's what we called it. Every time it comes up, it makes me so happy.
I love it
Formed
so
of
much.
frozen seawater, say glistening crystalline sails,
The glistening
currently
tit.
furled. But there's also a small flurry of activity on it. You can see
Ooh.
new crew members who are under the watchful eye of Quartermaster Vig, actually.
I would like to go and meet all of them. Introduce us to every single
turn.
one, Jason.
Most of whom are far too busy to really speak to. However,
Not
you do
105 crew members for the rest of the podcast. You're the
Uh,
worst, dear. I'm totally kidding.
but you do recognise there are some crew that have transferred. There are some crew that have transferred over, including several members of the goblin members of your crew who have previous experience with sailing junks. You recognise. I've got the Kraken's Bane cast list in front of me, but you recognise several of them there, including, there we go, including Shen Zheng, one of your. Actually, no, sorry. Shen Zheng is your new head gunner.
Yes.
After Kraken's Bane. What?
The sentient ship who is gunning itself.
After the. We've just spoken to Apple Blossom and I forgot his name somehow. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, okay. No, after Shenzhou, I believe it's Shen Yu, who's the most experienced of the Haldanic sailors aboard, is there as well. You can see, as I said, Vig, who is currently, for what he needs to be doing at the moment. Yeah, he's up on the foredeck and on a chair, shouting down various orders. The people getting the ship ready. A lot of it is the Witch's Tit actually isn't in the middle of the water at the moment. It's by the dock because they're currently taking on a lot of supplies and other equipment is needed. They've managed to lay their hands on at least some powder. But they are awaiting the stealth steamship delivery of cannon. Not that they realise that's what's coming. Mm-hmm. But once it does arrive, you will have a second equipped ship. You also do notice a couple of other figures aboard there. Aboard the young orc girl. Who tried to pick your pockets, appears to have signed on. Whose name I've definitely written down somewhere.
I have no idea what it is.
But for a moment, you can't actually remember her name either. So you'll just have
it's
to.
like one syllable. I remember that. But...
It is. And it must be here somewhere because I've definitely written up. I've written it down, and I cut Ketlin.
It's not one syllable. Never mind.
Yep, because I found that because it's written next to Bungo Bimbleberry, the tinker. But no, you can see Ketlin, the young urchin girl, seems to have been taken on there as well as Herbert Wheelhouse, the possibly reanimated corpse that is serving as the apparent identity of Thurling Thimbleberry.
Definitely nowhere Flaming Skull.
I'd completely forgotten that. That's a mess.
Yeah.
Herbert Wheelhouse, right.
Yeah, you recruited the person with the vendetta against Vasilisa.
Yay!
As
Very
one of
clever.
your
We've
ship's
all got
mages.
minor vendettas against her.
She literally killed him.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Nevertheless, you're able to, seeing the ship in port, Vig spots you, fires off a salute, and you take the rowboat back onto the Kraken's Bane, where each of you have at least someone waiting for you. I think we'll start with Corzin, because Molly strides up the deck as soon as you arrive.
Yep.
Long time no see.
Envelop her in a big hug. Oh,
Come here. Sorry.
loads to
come
tell,
here.
but wow, I'm so glad to be back.
Glad to see you. That's the voice. Glad to see you. Good to see you. Witch's tits started to come into shape.
Yeah, it's looking great. In fact, on that note, I've got some potentially exciting news. We may be in a position before too long to get to expand our fleet even further. But yes.
Font. That's great news. Have you got cannons for this one?
Yes, they're on their way.
Oh, well, that's even better.
I will go into the stateroom just to make sure that we're not immediately being overheard, and I will fill her in on the salient points of the situation with the guns coming from the Institute, and finish up by saying, so yeah, in the end, the answer was chocolate. Make of that what you will.
Chocolate. That stuff we tried back in Porto Amasedio.
Yeah, I mean, it's just lucky they had so much of the stuff, otherwise we'd have been fucked.
That must have cost a
I
king's
don't even want to
ransom.
contemplate how much that cost. That's probably like half the continent's supply of it gone. But on the plus side, there is at least going to be a continent in 5 years.
Gotta say, this happens with disconcerting regularity.
I know, right? It's just look, I used to think
what I
that
said.
there was an unlikely amount of luck in my life, and I was correct. But really, I suppose these things do pull both ways.
Speaking of which, there is actually a bit of mildly worrying news.
What happened?
Nothing yet, but we had a word from some of the crew that there's been some mercenaries asking around about you. Apparently there's been some interest in that whole, 1,000-crown reward.
Oh, asking around as if, have you seen this man, kind of asking around.
Fortunately, I think the crew are largely pretty loyal on the subject, but and certainly they aren't getting aboard this ship. But just keep an eye out. Apparently, there's
Will
some
do.
professional bounty hunters out there.
It's that blasted alleyway business. Alright. Good to know, at least. Well,
Yeah,
1,000 gold? That's insulting.
Well, they've only caught you for the one crime.
True. I suppose... I mentioned this to the others earlier, but I don't suppose there's a way we can scam this so that we can...
No, you cannot claim the bounty on yourself, Corzin.
I did actually look into that just in case we could.
Yeah.
Apparently, we either need to convincingly bring you in front of Lady Vandesar so she can kill you herself, or we need to convincingly create a replica of your head.
Right, well, one might be doable, but the other,
I wouldn't know where to start with a head. You're right.
I totally have a spell for this.
Come here.
What?
I've got a spell called Feign Death.
Oh my god.
You know, I'm sure Scamp would be able to put something together for this, but maybe that's not the first thing we want to be looking into. I'd
Probably
be quite
not.
satisfied just to leave this place behind and leave them in our wake, as it were. But that's not going to happen for at least another couple of weeks, what with everything. Until then, we're just got to be careful.
Too right. By the way, new ship's mage over on the tits seems to have their wits about them. Kind
Just
of
shorten it to the tits.
yeah, on the tits. They kind of have a weird stare to them, but
They've seen some things.
Actually, if we're looking for just a head,
Oh.
Have feeling float in. I'm here.
I might have to have a word with them about a few things, but regardless, come and have a look at this. And I am going to take out the air carbine. Now, I haven't had a chance to try this out yet, but they say that it's almost, compared to the other gunpowder weapons we have, almost completely silent.
All right. That's interesting. So what's the pump for?
Well, that is for the projectiles. It doesn't actually use gunpowder to propel it. It's just compressed air.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have to compress it pretty hard, but...
Apparently they worked out a way of doing it to the point where it's comparable to these gunpowder weapons. So I haven't really had a chance to try it out yet, but do you fancy maybe scaring the seagulls later?
Absolutely. Hey, you know what? She goes and opens the windows to the stateroom. You can see in the distance various gulls floating around.
Alright, the one on the chimney breast over there, and the one just slightly to the left of it at the top of that fence post.
I'll go first then. She takes the...
I hand her the
carbine and
Close
says...
of steady hand are being very well used right now.
chimney post first, so I'll just make an attack roll for her. It's not silent. It's more like a sort of large sound. So like there is a definite actual sound that comes from it, but compared to heard within a quarter mile,
it's like heard within the next room versus heard, a quarter of a mile away.
More clearly, though, you can hear. Let me just roll a luck check. And you just see the gull go and then pop into golden flecks.
Oh no, Marjorie!
Was that Marjorie? I keep thinking she's a pigeon.
Oh no!
What?
Rolled a 3 on the luck check.
Oh. Alright, well, there are other predators around. If you don't say anything, I won't say anything.
Was a hawk.
Corzin! Marjorie exploded!
Well, they are, in a seagull form. They're probably likely to be preyed on by something.
Marjorie's exploded, Corzin!
Alright, does that mean that they're gone for an hour, or do you need to do something else?
I'll go do a spell. But someone owes me incense.
I'll see actually if there's some in the ship's stores. I think that Aujin keeps some for their rituals.
Just go eye the gun and leave.
There's no smoking barrel because this has no smoke, but it is just, but you can see it, just the top of it poking from behind Molly's back where she's like hurriedly hidden it. So we know that works.
Right, yes, definitely. Scared to go after anything living now. Alright, how about, wait, there's a signpost over there, one of those swingy ones.
Oh, she hands it to you. Make an attack roll.
Pump. Okay. Natural 1, but lucky.
Roll again.
Okay, that's a 21.
Okay, you actually you miss, but as the shot goes, there's again this sort of sound, and then you hear as you hit a goal which falls and spins the swinging post.
All right, not exactly what I had in mind, but
I'll give you that one on a technicality.
I suppose we should call this a draw then. But that's sound design. Corzin looks out of the window and see if there's anything else that is less likely to cause havoc if it goes wrong. Finding nothing, turns back to Molly and says,
We're in the middle of a siege and you're just shooting random things in the street. This is fine.
the point being, of course, is that presumably, while the local seagull population is feeling victimized right now, none of the actual people on the street probably noticed that, or at least.
Well, you say that. I think one of the locals, human man, wanders over beneath the sign, picks up the seagull, slings it over his shoulder, and walks off with it.
Well, it's somebody's dinner.
Suppose free meat, don't turn it down.
Oh, they're in this siege situation. You can't blame anybody, can you?
True.
Well, yeah, so this was one of the things that I picked up at the Institute. Also, there's this, and I take out the nosebleed cat, and I say, I think for the moment this is going to go in the lockbox.
Nice little statue.
It's very nice. Unfortunately, it has side effects.
Yeah.
Like, nothing terrible, but it's used with caution.
Is that why you've got a lot of droid blood under one nostril?
Oh, and he sort of wipes it with. Yeah, it's a little bit disconcerting, but doesn't actually seem to do any harm.
Right.
Just not something you want to make a habit of, if you see what I mean.
Clearly. You lock away in the lockbox. Over the course of the next hour, a headache you didn't even know you had fades.
Oh. It must be the being back near the sea air.
Yes, that's definitely it.
Sea captain by the sea air is like, the sea's giving me a nosebleeds. Of course.
It was like, a headache I didn't know I had leaves me. Well, that's definitely I'm
Back where it belongs.
being back to a place I'm familiar with.
Of course. God, what a horrible artifact that you just get a low-level headache at all times.
It's just low enough that you don't notice it until you stop having it.
I hate it.
I don't know, last few hours of a migraine when you think it's kind of gone, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, oh no, that wasn't gone. Ooh.
Well, I suppose. Oh, it's you see, Molly wanders behind the changing screen for a moment. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, actually, I'm glad you found so much to entertain you. She steps back out, sans several items of clothing. Now, in terms of things to show you, if you'd like to come over this way.
You've been reading the book, haven't you? And he starts disrobing.
You can see, the book is out by the bedside table. Meanwhile, Scamp, as Corzin wanders off towards the
waves crashing on the shore.
Yeah, waves crashing on a shore.
A fireplace in the middle of the waves. Out of place that we just linger on.
Rolling backwards.
Going into a tunnel.
Rolling backwards a few minutes to as Corzin and Molly go to the stateroom to
I've got to go recast Marjorie.
Oh no, that hasn't happened yet. To examine to examine Corzin's air rifle. Scamp. You. I guess the first person you see actually is Clara, who comes up to the deck along with Saran. As Saran goes over to speak to Celestia, however,
Who's sitting on her own somewhere weird and having a smoke.
noticing Celestia sitting and having a smoke, Clara comes over. Scamp,
Hi!
how have you been?
Saved the world again, sort of. It's been a busy couple of days. How are you doing?
Actually, it's been nice. Been doing a bit of work, meeting some interesting people. Did you find anything fun while you were saving the world again?
Yeah, actually, you'd really like the Institute. It's full of smart people. So you'd fit in really well. Maybe when the world's not ending and terrible, you should go visit. They're really nice, some of them. Some of them are arses. Like, some of them are awful. But there's some good people there.
I guess that makes it better than average. So, I
Yeah.
for that.
Lots of chocolate too, so you know there's that.
Chocolate. Did you bring any back?
No, we used it to kill the zombies.
Oh. That.
Yeah. The more I say it, the weirder it sounds, and it sounded pretty weird to start with, to be honest.
That does sound pretty weird. What kind of zombies were they?
Mushroom ones.
Oh. How did that work then?
I was like sort of a brain control with a fungus in your head. But then you cover them in chocolate and they vomit up the fungus. And everything's fine again.
I heard a story about something like that back when I was in Haldanos, actually. Deep in some of the deep jungles there.
Ooh. Right, well, tell them to stay away if you go back, because those things are awful.
That was pretty much the message of the story.
Oh, good. Well, that's reassuring, because the scientists clearly didn't hear it, because they wanted to go and have a go at the mushrooms, and it didn't, yeah. But we sorted it, it's all fine now. And I got this cool arm bracelet thing.
Ooh!
Yeah, I found what basically the closest thing I had to sort of parental figure as a kid who then abandoned me, gave me a whole bunch of abandonment issues. Turns out they didn't mean to abandon me, but they also didn't care enough to check back in to see if I was okay. So that's kind of good and bad. I'm a little conflicted, honestly.
Have you used up your magic bowl thing?
Yeah.
Damn. I was going to ask if you wanted to talk about that over chocolate, but...
Oh, wait, has it been a day? I've lost track.
I asked you to use them all.
Oh,
at
yeah.
once.
That was today still, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's so
But
good.
I
Yeah.
have the rest, so.
You have just maybe some milk and honey?
Milk and honey sounds really good.
Okay. I mean, there's some down here, at which point you hear...
Oh, come on!
As you look
Marjorie!
over and you see
Corzin!
Marjorie just explode.
Corzin, Marjorie exploded!
Well, they must have been preyed upon by something. They're in the...
You
Yes.
see Molly hurriedly hiding the air rifle behind her back.
Well, someone owes me
Two people have
some...
been caught smoking behind the bike shed. Nope.
That's the expression, isn't it? Yeah.
Somebody owes me some incense.
I think Arjun has some.
Okay, let's go get some of that and get Marjorie back.
Molly gives you a guilty look and then closes the door of the stateroom as you leave.
Corzin bites his knuckles.
Clara fishes into the bag she carries and produces a small wrapped package, which she hands to Scamp.
Thanks. Now, I haven't made Marjorie a mural in ages. But she might be really cross if I do.
I mean,
But she could also burrow.
That's pretty fun.
Possibly not the most use on a ship, though.
I mean, I guess if you need her to burrow through something, it could be useful.
Let's make a mirror.
Okay. You wander down to... I mean, basically you can do it anywhere, so I guess if you're getting milk and honey, you wander down to the galley and start setting up the summoning circle on just one of the tables, just spreading out some butcher's paper or something. And talk and drink warmed milk and honey while you do it. How much do you fill Clara in on?
Everything except none of the Celestia stuff, because that's not mine to tell. Basically everything prior to that conversations.
Okay. At one point she just her eyes widen. You actually saw a natural earth elemental.
Yeah, but no nudie stone woman, so, I was very disappointed.
Probably for the best about the stone women.
Nudie stone women.
Still probably for the best. From what I've heard, those things can turn you into more of them.
Nudie stone women?
Well, just stone people, I guess, if they were...
I don't want to be nudie.
If they
or
were nudie
stone,
women,
or
then they
a
would
woman.
turn to stone.
None of those things sound good.
I guess they just turn you into a stone scamp. I don't know about the nudie.
That seems invasive.
I mean, the being turned to stone usually is.
I suppose. Huh. Wow. One of nature's miracles.
Just roll an insight check.
That's a 13.
You're not sure if Lara Croft. You're not sure if Clara is making this up or not.
But yeah, it's been a complicated couple of days away.
Well, if you ever encounter more of them, I can try and get me some of their veins. I can make those stone-speaking potions from them.
I really want to speak to some stones. That sounds great.
I've never actually used it, so I don't know what stones talk about.
I bet it's really interesting. It must be fascinating. They're good. They never go anywhere, so the conversation must be good.
I can actually do that with any of the classical elementals. You can get one. I can make a potion that lets you talk to fire if you can get the core of a fire elemental.
What are the other? So there's water, air. Talk to air. Could you talk to your own farts?
They wouldn't stick around, but very briefly, maybe.
Jeffrey's one stick around.
Talk to your own fart, just goes, hey beach, then leave.
Natural elementals are very rare. They don't. Most of them are summoned by wizards.
The ones when the Kraken attacks, those are not summoned though, are they?
I think those are natural ones, yes.
Ooh.
Apparently, you sometimes get them in places where... Usually places which have either been left undisturbed for a long time, or places where places where you get people who, she thinks, well, you don't really get them in Dover anymore, but Olga wrote about a type of people called druids, and before they were all wiped out, or mostly wiped out, you tended to get them around where they were.
Why were they wiped out?
I don't know a lot about that.
Huh. Well, that sounds interesting.
But, yeah, if you find any and you have to kill them, bring me whatever's left of them.
Great. We're good at killing things. Oh, really, we should get some other hobbies. It's starting to become a bit of a thing.
Do you know how to play Parcheesi?
I don't know what that is. Does it involve cheese?
Neither do I. People have been talking about it. I think it involves cheese.
Let's get some cheese. We're in the galley. Well
Okay,
done.
Let's get
make
some
it up.
cheese and make a game.
Okay. I go first.
Okay,
I'm going to eat some cheese.
You take a bite of gorgonzola. Okay. Clara takes a knife and a block of the closest equivalent to Gouda and cuts it. Okay. And she rolls the little cube. Okay, that's got 3 bubbles on it. So I guess I roll a 3.
Yes, definitely.
So you have to eat 3 bites of cheese.
I'll do that. I'm going to get a bit of really sticky brie and just throw it at the ceiling and see if it sticks.
Roll a luck check.
That's a natural 20.
It does.
Brilliant.
And it stays there until right.
Until the stupidest story beats.
Please make a note, Scamp, and I'm asking you to keep track of this.
I'm totally going to lose these notes, but yes.
There is a large piece of
I'll write
sticky
it down
brie on the galley ceiling,
Brie on galley ceiling.
and you, Robbie, may choose any moment for that to drop.
I cannot wait to have a dramatic argument in the galley.
For now, though, the pair of you just look up. Oh, that's really sticking.
Yeah.
I think, have you won the game or lost the game?
I think we've all lost the game.
You're an asshole.
This could do with some bread.
Yeah. Let's get some bread.
Meanwhile, actually,
More
sorry.
games than
Just
fire and
as
Scamp
about the time you return with just about the time you return with more bread, there's a sort of flare of incense, and unseen because there's no one's with spirit sight. You don't see what's the section that's usually happening, so you don't see the spirit recaptured. All you see are golden planes of light coming into existence and then forming. Into the shape of a little prairie dog, or indeed a mirror.
Marjorie! Okay, so you can't fly, but you can burrow. Ooh. Burrowing.
Marjorie starts burrowing into the block of cheese and then just eating. Actually, no, she doesn't eat the cheese, but she burrows into the block of cheese.
I mean, that's fair.
So, okay, so I heard that Belle walks in. So there's some. I heard someone talking about bread and what is that rodent doing in my galley?
Oh, it's alright, it's Marjorie.
At this point, you hear
Oh, no.
as
Stormy, no.
bounces in, and there is a smattering of knocked over tankards as the lightning cat just starts chasing this horridly scurrying rodent.
Oh, I can make Marjorie disappear. I put Marjorie somewhere safe.
Marjorie just discorporates.
Sorry, Stormy, but Marjorie's a friend.
Stormy seems confused because that wasn't a gull.
These things happen sometimes. It's all part of the great circle of life. One day, you're a bird. The next, you're a mirror.
Marjorie, Marjorie is somewhere. Marjorie's incorporated, but back into the rubber ball.
Does the baby kitten understand?
But Stormy looks at you for a moment, tilts her head, and then just lifts one leg and just starts like licking her inside, like rear leg thigh, just grooming herself. She doesn't give a shit.
She understands.
Meanwhile,
Yeah, sat cross-legged looking out to sea, not looking amazing, smoking a pipe of tobacco. With whiskey nearby. That I've drunk some of.
you see
I'm
a
lost in thought.
silhouette of someone sit down next to you.
Hi. Sorry, you... it's far away. Hello.
Rough few days.
Oh, is that obvious?
She smiles a little.
You want a drag?
Takes the pipe, puffs on it.
Not your thing?
This is terrible quality tobacco. I can get you better.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Highness, that my tobacco wasn't up to scratch.
I can... It feels like sandpaper at the back of my throat. She smiles and hands it back to you.
Sorry, I'm not very interesting or cool right now.
That is fine. I am interesting enough for the both of us. I've been busy.
What have you been up to?
Oh, it's been a very difficult and trying couple of days.
How so?
Well, the food is terrible. The company boring.
Oh dear.
She smiles again. I
haven't had a single date since I left.
have not had a single date since you left.
Sorry, I'm planning to fix that soon. Sorry for the wait.
I will just have to endure.
Someone so serious, you're a ridiculous person, you know.
She shrugs one shoulder.
Yeah, I am sorry about the lack of date thus far.
Work calls.
Yeah, in my defense, the world literally could have ended, so, you know. I'd ask for tonight, but, martial law's just been declared.
I'm
So,
afraid I cannot possibly make a date tonight.
what have you got on?
I'm washing my hair.
Of course. That could take all evening, you know. I understand. I mean, my hair's perilous also.
She just tilts her head looking at the frizz of it.
I had a great pains to, you know, smooth it out and do all the hair things people do to their hair.
We
It doesn't just sit like this naturally or anything.
Oh, yes, of course. Fashion. We don't actually tend to get much of that hair on my side of the continent. You find that more in West Haldalos.
What, colourful hair?
The
Fluffy
frizzy.
hair? Huh.
You get that a lot around the humans, elves, and goblins there.
Oh. Nice to know this hair texture exists elsewhere. It didn't where I was from. I was just weird.
Probably there was some Haldanic ancestry in your family.
Maybe. I mean, curly hair and straight hair were a thing. Straight hair that just grows outwards like mine does. Not so much. Most people's straight hair grows down.
I am forever marveling at the variety you seem to get with Hugh Jovans. All sorts of different textures, different colours. Most people's, she gestures to her own long dark hair, variations on a theme. Where I am from.
Well, your hair's lovely.
Yes.
I wish I could take a compliment like you.
I will
I'm just getting
do
awkward and
my
weird.
best to grant your wish. You are statuesque.
Really?
The height looks good on you.
Sit up a bit straighter. Thank you. Not confident I've ever been called statuesque before, but I appreciate it. Mostly I just feel gangly. All limbs. See an awkward waving limb motion like a tree in the wind, and then realise what I'm doing in front of this attractive woman. Just like try and sit normally. Sorry, I'm really weird today. I don't think I've been this weird in front of you.
I recall one of the earliest lessons at the opera was to be a tree. It was astonishingly dull and absolutely agonizing when I first had to hold that pose for 45 minutes.
Could you please do the exact pose you had to hold? I want to understand properly.
She just immediately and without hesitation adopts a very graceful, somehow, tree. She stands up on one leg, balanced, and spreads out her arms, fingers splayed, and somehow manages to make this look balletic.
How the fuck do you look good doing that?
Arduous repetition.
I'd say I envy you, but I would never want to repeat that enough times to look good doing it.
It's actually kind of impressive because you are on a ship, so she's having to adjust to the slow rock.
And she's actually not
like
moving.
swaying.
Yeah, she's only moving very slightly.
You have some impressive core strength on you, my darling.
She steps down. There is a...
You could ride a spider.
I've never tried,
I
but I
wouldn't,
can
honestly.
ride a horse. There is a... The word in Tang Haldanic would be Gong Fu, but in Jovan it translates loosely to excellence through arduous repetition.
Yeah, they like a bit of that. Where I come from, too. Not for the same things, though. We weren't trees or anything, but... Yeah. She kind of stares off into the distance for a second and, blinks.
Anyway, enough about you, more about me.
Please, actually.
I have been doing...
Tell me the exciting things you've been doing while I've been gone.
different work. I have... I found a small amount of contract work, mostly around the stacks and the west side, with some discerning hobgoblin women.
Anyone exciting?
She shrugs. There was one bugbear with a certain amount of technique and stamina, but she gestures vaguely. Work.
Fair enough.
Of more interest is I have been doing a little translation work between some of... she thinks for a moment how to phrase this. Some older texts that members of the community here have, but do not necessarily know how to read, heirlooms and such. I have been working with an enterprising young hobgoblin woman, a lawyer. Well,
What's her name?
Sen Hui Sin. She is. She kind of gestures like that with that so-so motion where you put your hand out and like tilt the fingers either side. I say lawyer. It seems they do not let goblins formally become lawyers here.
Oof. That's grim.
I do not know there is a law so much as lack of willingness to teach or money to afford. She shrugs. But there is cruelty in any corner of Calcinea.
Yeah. Varying cruelty.
Clara has also been busy, and as such I have been busy as Mistress Clara.
Ah.
Mostly selling remedies and the like.
Sure there's demand for that right now.
She pulled things from France for a moment. There have been some requests for curses, but I understand she's not generally fond of providing those.
Good on her.
Again, she does the so-so motion with her hand. Some people deserve a little cursing.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. If you don't know the person and they're just buying one off you, they're a bit iffy.
She shrugs. Giving someone incontinence to pay the bills, if you're reasonably sure they deserve it, is an acceptable price, especially when you can also sell curse removal. But, she shrugs, there are degrees of annoyances.
Yeah.
I do not think she can actually turn someone into a toad.
I'd be impressed.
Not permanently.
In other less serious news, did you know that you can destroy zombies with chocolate? Only certain zombies.
Yes, she lies baldly.
We're all an insight.
Yeah.
I mean, 18, I think.
She's got... Logically, you know she's lying. You know she's
But
lying.
it's really good.
But, like, she looks completely serious.
Tell me every single detail of how you came to know this extremely elite information, Saran.
Well, to begin with, first you must understand that I was raised by tigers.
Ah, yes.
And
I
I
see
received my training in the Tiger Palace at the top of the Yellow Mountain. After climbing the 7,243 steps,
So precise numbers, Saran.
which is much easier for tigers than
Well,
for
I'd imagine
people.
they're just... Were you allowed to ride the tigers to go up, or was that against
No.
the rules? Is that improper?
Most improper, and a good way to be eaten by tigers.
Okay. But they agreed not to eat you if you climbed the 7,243 steps. Yeah, I remember your arbitrary number. Look at me go.
No, they did not. I got very good at running from tigers.
I was going to say you had fantastic calves from climbing all the stairs, but I suppose you had fantastic calves from running away from the fucking tigers.
Obviously. Within the tiger palace, atop the yellow mountain, there
Is it yellow?
Yes.
Sorry, stupid question. Do continue by all means.
There's a pause. Unless you mean the mountain.
Oh, the tigers were yellow.
No, the palace, of course. Made from the finest yellow stone.
Ah, yes.
Which is not found on the yellow mountain.
Of course not. That'd be silly.
No. The yellow mountain stone is red, but it has such beautiful yellowish orange foliage in the autumn. That part is true. You should see it.
Really?
I could see it in the distance from the palace gardens. Most of the year, the yellow mountain is a mountain, green, grey, brown. But when autumn comes, the trees that rise up it, for there is a great forest there, all turn within a week, and it is as if that high peak is cloaked in russet gold and carnelian.
Oof. I need to see more of the world.
When the sun sets just behind it, and the cranes take flight from the pools, it is as heaven on Calcinea.
Wow, looks like I've got some more mountains to see than I thought I was interested in.
But yes, at the top of that, in the Yellow Palace,
This is where you learnt about
Yes.
chocolate and zombies.
there is a room with one zombie.
Just one.
And if you can answer all of its riddles, it will teach you about the chocolate.
And I assume you won the riddle battle.
No, I punched it until it told me what I wanted to know.
It's really nice to see you.
It is good to see you. I am sorry you have had a hard time, but I look forward to our date when I have finished washing my hair.
Yes, which, I mean, could take a long time,
It could take
depending on
as
how the
long
war goes.
as it needs to take.
For such an intimidating person, you have quite the kind streak, you know.
Don't let it get to my head. Now, everyone has been talking about them. You must show me one of these wieners.
You want me to show you my wiener, Saran? I'll show you my wiener. This one, it's called a Celestia Sizzle.
At this point, you're down to like one Celestia Sizzle as well. Is this
I've
the
been
last
giving
one?
them to everyone.
Yeah.
It's the last one, but obviously nothing less for you. So there you go, it's yours.
Takes the cold sausage. Shall I have your cook heat this up, or...
Honestly, I've found that it makes little difference. You're still going to want another one when you're done.
Slowly and delicately opens her mouth, places the sausage on her tongue, and holds there for a moment before biting.
Ah.
There's a slightly malicious grin before she just chews on it.
Disgusting yet good, right?
Spicy. Confusing texture, even by the standards of sausage.
Doesn't feel like food, does it?
She takes another bite with less innuendo. Just
eating the sausage.
Just eats the sausage. This will do well. It shouldn't. I acquired a snack from a Ferocian cook, a street cook. They stack meat on top of meat over a fire,
In like a big, weird, melty cylinder.
and then it somehow becomes solid.
Yeah, that's genuinely one of the most disturbing surface things I've come across.
She chews the sausage thoughtfully.
Very strange. You wouldn't believe the shit we eat in the Underdark.
I assume it's all roast halfling there.
Yeah, 3 meals a day. Don't tell Corzin.
The plumpest.
Only the plumpest halflings. Yep.
I imagine that you're just...
This is actually finely round halfling, and I've fooled you.
Of course, yes.
That's why the weird texture.
Ah, forgive me, I thought it was kobold. Clearly I lack the discerning taste. Imagine drow are just picking halfling bits out of their teeth and casting them aside. No, not this one, too stringy.
I'm actually fattening Corzin up, that's what's happening.
You have a lot
Slowly
of work ahead
feeding
of you.
him, yeah. He's very small. Hoping he'll grow a bit.
Perhaps with a honey glaze.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you for the silliness.
She nods.
I'd tell you stuff, but we haven't actually had our first date yet, and it's all really quite intense. Either on a personal family level, which is honestly pretty awful if you're me, or on a like state secrets level, and the two are surprisingly blended. And it just feels like a bit much before I've bought you dinner.
Then you must tell me the tale of how you acquired the monkey.
Sure. Why not? I tell her about the ridiculous pet shop, where I hated everything. I go into detail about all the different weird animals that I hated and how I hated Jeffrey the most. And the parrot. I tell her about the parrot, and the spirit that came out of it. I tell her like the whole Jeffrey story in ridiculous, stupid detail, and offer her whiskey if she wants it.
She takes a small sip, but as you're talking, she takes out her small little silvery cylinders and they're like little carved cylinders, some with Haldanic inscriptions on them. She just rotates them in place, adjusting them, sometimes drawing little metal strings between them as you talk. And at the end of it, of the story about Jeffrey, she looks through what you have, looks over you and says, "Play me a note from your guitar."
Any particular note? Or just anything?
She thinks a C.
Ellie doesn't know what that sounds like off the top of Ellie's head, so
You would
I'd play
need
a C.
perfect goddamn pitch to know that. Well, that was off the
Yeah.
top of your head. But you take it and you play the strange sort of
Yeah.
sort of electric guitar sound that comes from it. And you focus it again as you
Okay.
play it a few more times. And then you hear just come out of the air in between the different little metal pieces. She twists them, tapping one a few times. Ding, 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 ding. Twitches, just ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. I dearly wish I had the sight you have to make this instinctive. But doing it the long way, there is a trick to capturing a sound and shifting the tone of it. And then, now that I have the sound of your guitar, I can recreate it.
That's lovely.
Ding, ding. And she offers you, without saying, the opportunity to just let the conversation drop. As she twists, she just takes a little time adjusting the pieces of metal, setting up a looping strain that she adjusts occasionally. And then looks to your actual guitar.
And then join in.
And you
Something a little higher so that it just kind of
and
harmonizes.
you take a little bit of time
And we just play music
to have
together.
a slow duet. And we'll come back to the after effects of that after these, no doubt important, messages.
Are you a public figure? Perhaps a politician or a celebrity of some kind? Do you have a legacy to consider? Does the possibility of assassination weigh heavily on your mind? Well, consider taking out Goldenkrantz and Guildenstern's new assassination insurance policy. That way, should you fall foul to the foulest of plays, your loved ones will be provided for. Assassination insurance, no death too small.
And welcome back. So, just like that, mid-morning comes. After a little bit of time to let off at least a little steam with friends and, in one case, wives, friends and wife, you meet back up on the deck. Or at least Corzin comes out of the stateroom around about the time that Scamp returns full of cheese, and Celestia, you kind of
Try calling slightly askew.
end your impromptu jam session.
Yes, we have a lovely jam session.
Where do you want to head?
We wanted to see the 30 cutthroats
Yeah, we want to see them
first.
I
That
think.
seemed like the logical first step.
Okay. You make your way down to the stacks. So, talking a little bit about this. Making the once you take the rowboat back from the ship, it leads you to So What, and you walk down through Sowat and into Little Feroz. This area, and some of the areas around Sorry Hill to a degree, are home to the primarily human Ferosian population. There are other humans, mostly of Jovan descent, elsewhere in the city as well, but the Ferosian population is largely kept together and running the various businesses and the like there. You pass in various individuals, not least of which includes, one chap with a little Donna stack, just rotating over some flames, doing the strange meat melding thing.
Does he have like a little pulley arrangement?
Yeah. Just Jen slowly roasting it, going, kebabs, get your kebabs.
Don't ask or examine too closely where they came from.
Absolutely getting a kebab.
Yep.
Kebab.
It's
Anyone
definitely
else
time
want
for kebab
Yep.
breakfast. Well, late breakfast, lunch almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like brunch. You
Second breakfast?
No, we're firmly into brunch time now.
Brunch.
Plus, I already had like 3 breakfasts.
You spend a couple of coppers on some kebabs.
Yeah.
A little kebab and pitta.
I want pitta.
And
I had pita bread in ages.
Same.
Maybe I'll make some.
it's nice and hot as well, and like smeared with grease from
Oh my god, that sounds good.
from the spit. You make your
I forgot that the thing that you roast meat on is called a spit, and I just thought somebody had spat on it for a second. It was a very weird moment.
But you make your way past Little Feroz and down towards the west side and the stacks, as they are called. The stacks are well named. The buildings here are tight and fairly tall. Not with a degree of grandeur, but more out of a desire of those who constructed them to pack as many people into a small area as they can. So most of the buildings here are 3 or 4 stories high. They back onto a lot of the warehouses and other dockyard buildings of the west side, some of which have been further converted into these quite dense tenements. The light is a little grimmer down at the base of these tall buildings. In a later time, when skyscrapers come to exist, it will feel almost, to borrow a phrase from a certain author, it will feel almost as if you're getting the light that is left over after the rich people are done with it. You get that strange, like twilight feeling you get from being in high cities with high walls, and the things are a little bit grayer as a result. As well, you also find that the population, as mentioned before, changes. There are different people at work here. Bugbears and hobgoblins moving crates and the like. Various goblins at trades. A lot of them seem to be stitching cloth or doing small amounts of work, of piecework. But as you know from seeing the morning trudgers out to workplaces, most of the people here are actually factory workers for the garment district. In the early morning, there's usually something of a regular trickle of workers from the stacks across the marketplace known as the Triangle into the garment district and the kitchen. You garner attention from those you pass, as you always do, but the gaze varies. Corzin gets a little not even hostility, but like cautiousness upon seeing someone, especially someone so armed, moving your way down. Scamp, some curiosity. Celestia, there is restrained hostility in some eyes. Others don't seem to give it to know much or look as if they've never seen a drow before. It doesn't take you long to find the unlucky dragon. It is an eatery. I would almost say an eatery as opposed to a restaurant, to draw a distinction between it and the. Sorry, I've somehow lost the. There we go. Got the tabs back. To draw a distinction between it and Woley's tea house, which was on the waterfront. Which again, which had quite a sort of beautiful interior. It was made up, and booths and everything. It was kind of a relatively sort of high class restaurant. The Lucky Dragon has the appearance of a warehouse which has been converted into a place full of tables where you can get food hot, fast, and cheap, and don't necessarily, with no such impediments as high cuisine. What you have will be filling, and you will be glad of it too. The sign is a little faded, from what it was originally, and it's not written in Jovan. It's written in what you would guess is East Haldanic, from the script that you have seen Saran show you. But it does have what appears to be a almost comically fat green dragon being chopped up into steaks by a series of goblins and a bugbear. Someone was very tired of places called the Lucky Dragon.
Entirely reasonable.
Yep.
Fair.
I cannot count the number of places I've been to called the Lucky Dragon. I'm sorry, it's a pet peeve of mine.
It's fair.
I've always wanted a place called the Unlucky Dragon. Anyway, as you approach, a couple of large looking bugbears come out to see you. One of them, a kind of quite sort of I almost want to say like the dark hair on the top of their head is like a little bit shaggier than usual. It's a little bit it's particularly unruly, but it is or at least the bit up top is unruly. She's shaved the sides of it to like so it's not quite like bare skin, but it's like quite a short cut. So it's almost like she's got almost like a messy mohawk going on. And you can see that she has a series of tattoos up her forearms as well. What brings you to the Unlucky Dragon?
Hello, we'd like to have a little bit of a chat with someone here.
We will not be open for customers for some hours.
Oh, it's not really that. We're not looking for food.
I see.
We're looking to talk to Sen.
Senshi Young, specifically.
Oh, so this would be.
Is that the right one?
Yeah,
Did I remember that right?
Sen Chiang, you remember that correctly?
Sen-
I got the name
Yeah.
right. I have written
I'm
some
sorry,
terrible
I confess
notes.
I've got two people called Sen next to each other, and I
Yeah,
forgot
no, that's
which
fair
one
enough.
was from this place.
Yeah, Sen Chiang is the one
Also,
you've
that's
had yet.
definitely both of their second names. Not second
Yeah,
names, but
family names.
family
yeah.
names. There we go.
So there's a pause.
I can
There's-
read
That's
about
unhelpful.
10% of my notes today, so I'm really glad I wrote the bit that the name was the right one for once.
The two bugbears look at each other from the moon. The bugbear with the mohawk's back. You fishermen?
Yeah,
Yes.
You might say that.
fisher folk.
Do enjoy a spot of
wait
fishing.
here. She makes eye contact with. You notice several goblins and hobgoblins who are just like hanging around in the street, picking their nails and so on. We'll just sort of keep an eye as she turns and goes round back. You see her enter through side door. There's an awkward moment. The other bugbear reaches into her pocket, pulls out a small tin. Snuff.
No
Not
thanks.
confident. I know what that is.
She takes a pinch of powdered tobacco, snorts up her nose.
Oof. Yeah, why not? Celestia, of course she tries some.
Corzin will, although it's probably been a while for him.
Yeah, you both take a snort of snuff.
You get, I can assure you get a small rush from snuff. We had a historical dance teacher who was really cool and brought some in once for supposedly historical dance reasons at drama school. He was great.
Fun fact, if you ever are doing like a play or something, or a short film, and you need to create, you need cocaine, like a cocaine substitute for a shot, white snuff. Because
Yeah.
you can snort it, and it's basically tobacco. Like,
can
so it's
also
not
snort-
good for
Sea
you,
powder
but it's
also
also
You can also snort fine sugar.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it does look like it just looks very much
Well,
like
that takes me back to secondary school. People used to snort sherbet. I will never
that's a
know
mistake.
why.
Oh,
That is a
Such a
mistake.
bad
that's
idea.
such a mistake.
Oh no! Don't snort bicarb.
Snorted a fair amount of sugar in various terrible pieces of acting at drama school.
Kids just used to do it for fun.
I think. Yeah.
Kids are stupid.
Kids are
Yeah,
dumb.
kids are stupid, especially teenagers.
You also get a bit of the taste of snuff, which is an interesting thing. Taste it back of your throat. It's weird. You get it in
Yeah, you get that
weird
weird
flavours.
sort of snuff flavouring. This one is, you think, like some sort of berry flavoured. You don't recognise the berry.
Oh, well, that woke me up.
Fox
Thank you.
No problem. Little awkward wait. Mohawk bugbear comes back out. Zhenjiang is currently still engaged, but if you come back at noon, say, perhaps an audience may be had.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Slowly, everyone watches you as you leave.
It's awkward, isn't it?
Oh, that's a power move, though. Ah,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
whoever they are, I kind of love them already. They're going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, they're going to be a nightmare, but it's kind of great.
It's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're playing hardball with us.
It's a good mind game.
Ooh, okay. Corzin, you have the highest passive perception.
Oh no.
Yep.
So you overhear, and also you literally have eyes in the back of your head, which helps. So you, as you're seemingly turning the corner and like facing away from them, Mohawk Bugbear beckons to someone, to one of the goblins, and you just overhear her murmur, "You keep Zen Hui Sin busy. Jiang won't want her interfering."
Corzin is going to do his best to keep his pace steady as he moves away.
Okay.
And once he is confident that they are not going to be overheard, he will relay this small piece of information to the other two.
Yeah, you tap your message stone and just pass
I
them
think
on.
possibly they want to keep someone out of the way.
Yeah, maybe some sort of family feud.
Or someone who'd be on our side.
Yeah.
I mean, the temptation to, like, get in touch with them, just send and say, "Hey, we've got a meeting, you fancy being there?" Like, if we're talking power moves, that's
I mean,
Pretty good.
that's
that's
very good.
actually not a bad idea.
I mean, it might be a
Although,
terrible idea. The reason they might want them not in the room is because, I don't know, they've got terrible farts, or they're just really angry, or they just swear at everyone. It could be anything.
My vote's on terrible farts. That's the most likely scenario.
Keep Zen Hui Sin out of this.
Hui Sin has the
She
worst
has
farts.
the worst farts. They're loud, they're stinky.
diplomatic disaster.
This like really intimidating gang boss. Like, get the fart lady away from me. Farts have been a theme today.
What can I say?
Secret worshipper of the lost Haldanic god turned log. The fart god.
Well, you've made it canon now, Jason. I hope you're proud of yourself.
Oh, sorry, that's a reference to like a 2014 game called Crawl. But yeah, you make your way probably up into the triangle, because it's the easiest way out of the stacks, and you can see there are still a handful of stalls up doing a little business, but things are tense, and they're very much it's only the bravest and most desperate looking store holders who are trying to hawk their wares today.
It's always our backup plan.
Well, if we cannot go and see them, we might as well move on to one of the others we're going to see.
Let's not see Jenkins. Is it Jenkins? No,
I
Jenks.
don't
I
know.
really can't read these notes.
No, it's Henrik, but I was thinking actually of Copper Kettle.
Copper kettles.
Copper
Of the
Kettle,
two
I
of
think
them,
we
they seem-
might have a chance with.
Yeah, of the two of them, I think that we're slightly more likely to get a favourable result out of them.
Don't get me wrong, the chance is fucking slim, but it's there. Whereas I
Better
feel like
than
with the
none.
other guy, maybe it isn't.
Have we
than
done
none.
anything to offend this person already, or anything stupid that we should be remembering before we go in?
We made friends with other gangs before we made friends
We
with
did
him.
that, but we also got his family member. Yeah, I mean, we did that. But we also got his family member, like those things. We robbed a bank for them, didn't we?
Yes.
We did roll a
There's
bank
that.
for them.
So that's
did,
in our
like, that
favour.
genuinely
Something to lean
happened.
on that particular front.
But we haven't done anything dumb, like we haven't like murdered a family member and not noticed or anything, have we? Because that's
Genuinely
really
a character I'm
our
trying to
style.
remember.
Moment as all characters look into the distance, trying to remember who they've murdered.
It's a long list. It's like you haven't, as far as you know, you haven't deliberately murdered any of his kin or kith.
I don't think we've even talked to any of them really, other than Moray.
No, I don't think we have. Wait, hang on. Was Copper Kettle at one of the council meetings we were at?
No, the
No, okay, I'm thinking of someone else.
only gang members who have a presence who have a presence in the War Council are the ones you've brought. So the Sunset Girls have someone, and Adine will usually show up to represent Ezra.
Okay, well, that's promising. But, just a couple of days ago, we were worrying about some spy master, and it turns out we already killed him, so...
Yeah.
This is our style. This is what we do.
Really
We're really daft.
stupid.
We don't think things through sometimes.
No, we're idiots. Oh well, I can't think of anything stupid we've done, so I guess we'll just have to get them to tell us if we have.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be as obliging as to remind us if it has slipped our minds.
Yeah. Everyone get your best apologising faces ready. Jeffrey? It's pretty good. Okay.
What's our play here? Join forces with Azra against the Bowstring Boys?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
We'd like them to defer to Azra, but that's not going to happen, really, is it?
No, I think maybe we can get them to join.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll take being subordinate to Azra.
No, but
If we can get them to just not fight each other, that's a step in the right
for
direction.
now, if we can get them to take out the bowstrings, as a group, that would be lovely. Eliminate one of the threats, and then once this is all done, then they can settle things properly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You make your way down along, up, depends how you decide your geography, through the garment district and up towards Five Friars. The district's around Five Friars, so named for a point where 5 different streets meet, and actually also there is a small chapel there as well. Is heavily sort of halfling focused, as is the area known as the kitchen towards the southeast. There is in a not unfamiliar, a not dissimilar manner to the stacks, a lot of quite densely packed housing here, with but largely built with small stories, housing that's really meant specifically for halflings and not necessarily built with the higher ceilings of other folk in mind. You also note that there are more basements here as well, as halflings, dating back to the old halfling hill clan tradition of digging your house into the ground, partly because it's cooler in the summer, and partly because it's more defensible against those fuckers from the other clan coming to steal your cattle and kill you over a centuries-long vendetta. Yeah, no, Corzin, you grew up in the cities, but you heard tales about the halfling clans in the country, and
I'm sure Molly has told me a few stories.
Oh yeah, there are vendettas that go back to when someone's great grandmother stole someone else's cow, and never gave it back. And to this day, there's some streets you just don't walk down, especially Cow Street, if you're a Lightfoot.
Oh no.
And let's just say that stout teeth know better than to walk past the weeping widow on the left-hand side of the street. But anyway,
otherwise you find out exactly why she's weeping.
Yeah. You do actually pass a halfling pub called the Weeping Widow. She seems... you can see that the halfling widow in question on the painting has a handkerchief to her eyes, but she's obviously grinning.
In a sort of they'll never know it was me kind of
Streets are a little bit more lively here, but you see a lot of young halfling men and women just you want to say strutting? There's a lot of saxes almost on display, a lot of pistols, and things. It looks like the friars are putting their best foot forwards as far as threat displays go for anyone who might be casually going in. There are actually quite a lot of halflings here, and quite a lot of armed halflings. It's kind of hard to tell where the armed members of the militia who are just keeping to their streets and the actual stop and the actual gang starts. It's an unfortunate side effect of everyone needing to be armed due to a siege. But it doesn't take you long to find the fretting fiddler. It's actually built into the bottom story of Cardigan House. Just double check it is Cardigan. I've got that right. I think it is Cardigan. Yeah, Cardigan House.
That's what you said before.
Yeah, it is. And Cardigan House itself is actually a very nicely facaded colonial townhouse. Although you can see that although built in it's a little interesting because of the original window structures, you can see that this used to be built for orcs or humans, but someone has subdivided the tall bay windows to incorporate additional floors.
All right, so like a 3-floored building is now a 5-floored one
Yeah,
because halflings.
because halflings. Right. It is still, what you can see of it looks like plush interiors, although you can also see figures by the windows in several situations. And there's certainly causing, like, you don't even need to, with your passive perception, you don't even need to do a check here. You can definitely see that a curious number of halflings seem to be taking their ease on rooftop gardens at the moment.
I think we've come to the right place. Sorry, I think you're going to have to...
Duck?
Ben. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have to duck. You might have to kneel.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
The fiddlers, the fretting
Now
fiddler
that's a power play.
is about...
For me or them?
Them. Making your
Definitely them.
visitors have to kneel. That's
It's
a...
about 5 foot high as a roof. The roof's about 5 foot off the ground, off the floor. So Scamp can manage with like a bit of a stoop. Celestia, to get through the door, you're gonna have to like either squat or hands and knees or something.
I do like a stylish lunge.
Yeah. So as you do, there is a door, a halfling doorman who kind of looks like he's been less through the wars and more through the prize fights. Cabbage ear, fat lip, very scarred knuckles.
Slightly wide nose.
Yeah, slightly wide as nose. Yeah. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Hi!
Who even are we? Celestia Stardust, nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm
Hello.
Scamp. What's your name?
Name's Tam.
Just Tim?
Tam.
Tam.
Aye.
Someone mentioned you. Who mentioned you? I remember that name.
You're expecting some tall, lanky folk?
Oh, you're not expecting us. We were just wondering if Owen Copperkettle happened to be about.
Yeah, Commodore Horhace.
I want to have a
at your
chat.
service.
Well, see, we're a very exclusive sort of... You hear a voice. Tom, stop fucking about and let him in.
Yeah, Tam, stop fucking about and let us in.
Live to serve. Kicks the door behind him.
Corzin jauntily tips his tricorn.
I turn all the way around so I can still look at Tam while I'm doing it and do a backwards limbo under the door.
Roll an acrobatics check.
Roll a 1.
Oh, it's not very good. It's not a 1. Oh no, my acrobatics is amazing. I forgot. I was thinking of the other skill. So that's a 19, actually.
It's a very impressive limbo in.
I keep eye contact.
At which point you get there and you realise Okay, you've limboed in.
Now I have to stay here.
You've got to figure out some way of you kind of have. It's a little less graceful, but you manage to kind of go down onto your knees and sit on your
I just sit cross-legged at that point.
Even so, your hair's brushing the hair, the ceiling a little.
I don't bother with the chair because I'll just be sat with my knees by my ears. I just sit on the floor.
It's an unfortunate position to be in because you've got a face full of smoke. This is. I want you to imagine one of those classic old man pubs.
Oh, yeah.
There is a pool table in the corner where a couple of halflings in tweed vests and flat caps are shooting pool. A few others watching. There is a long bar with beer where they're just pouring it, with various halflings sitting and pouring and drinking, and everyone's smoking. There's pipes galore. And it just gives the whole atmosphere an eye-wateringly tobacco-y stench.
UK pub pre-smoking ban.
Yeah, UK pub pre-smoking ban. Scamp, you can get in with a little bit of... You feel uncomfortably tall here, and you're not having to do the whole weird squat thing.
I just sit. I give up very quickly.
Yeah, you just sit. You have to shuffle yourself forwards. There is one of the there's a bit of a pause as several of the halflings look over. A number of the halflings in here, in fact, most of them are just quite nakedly armed. You see a lot of carbines slung on backs. You can see saxes at boots or at hips. Some people have pistols, but they seem to generally be pretty prepared for a ranged fight if it comes to it. There's maybe 30 halflings in here. It's actually quite a lengthy pub, and you can see that there is space for things to continue downwards from here behind a locked door at the far end. Make yourselves comfortable, says one of the halflings playing pool. Be with you in just a minute.
Right.
You look over, and you can see there is one of the ones talking is a halfling man, curly red hair beneath the flat cap, green eyes, freckled, smartly dressed in a tweed waistcoat with rolled up blue cotton sleeves on his shirt, a little neckerchief as well, and trousers and shiny looking shoes. He has actually not even shoes, it'll be boots because you can see the sax handle sticking out of one. I think, what do you reckon I can get this in one? You can see there's two red. I think this would be. It's just the black ball at this point. Actually, no.
Corzin will study his game.
Make a wisdom check.
Celestia definitely doesn't know pool, I think.
Okay. I mean, they might have heard of billiards down below, but
yeah, but I feel like she's a bit posh for pool, you know.
Yeah, fair. That's 13, I think. Yeah, 13.
Can probably do it. Seems to have a good form. Ball bounces, ricochets, taps the black ball, and just rolls and hits the pot into the little pot.
Oh,
Oh, nice shot.
Very smooth.
Thank you kindly.
You play a lot?
Oh, it passes the time. You know how it is. Walks sort of lazily wanders over. Owen, Copper Kettle, what can I get the three of you to drink?
Whiskey for me, if you've got it, please. Celestia Stardust, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Lovely. We've got some of the good stuff imported from Canon.
Oh, very nice.
Pour the tall one a single. And you? Nods to Scamp. Looks to Scamp.
Just milk if you've got it.
Nods to the barman. Actually, it's a barwoman. Another redhead halfling with a family resemblance who starts pouring. And of course, Commodore takes his hat off and does a little bit of a bow.
Corzin returns the gesture and says, I don't suppose you have any of the Kearney Stout in, do you?
Do we look like we're uncivilized? Of course I got some stout in. Get us a couple of stouts, would you? Thanks. Please, takes a seat at the bar himself, gestures to 2 seats and a bit of floor. Make yourselves comfortable.
Sure, thank you.
So, I'd been expecting your arrival a little sooner, but looks like you've been out of town for a couple of days.
Yeah, things got complicated. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got called away.
Oh,
Wouldn't have been a preferred time for it, but what can you do?
well, business is business. I quite understand. Myself, I've had... Well, we had an opportunity. We saw the chance to seize on. We didn't fire the first shots. At least, not on dear old Azra. How is her mouth these days? Healed up nicely?
Couldn't possibly comment, to be honest, darling.
I didn't ask.
Of course not. Oh, well, you know what that Bruce Jenks is like. Saw that you are out of town, decided that he'd just swoop in and see if he couldn't steal a few of those repeaters. As I understand it, he's made off with 4 of them already.
Really?
Of course, doesn't have the necromancer to do anything with them, but
Still,
reclaiming forces, you know?
yeah, wasting
Anyway.
resources, really. That.
Oh, yes. Well, of course, with him leaving his guard open like that, I just had to even the scales a little.
Of course.
That's understandable.
I mean, your timing complicates things, really. Like, we are mid-revolution, losing the... I mean, the... What's her name? I wasn't a fan, honestly. I don't blame you. But,
you
you
shouldn't
know,
have been.
figureheads,
Your instinct was right.
they can be important.
Well, we had our lovely boy... Boy Colin was due to step up deputy governor until the bastard Jenks. Well, you see his eye twitch for a moment. But
It's nice to hear you had a plan. That's very reassuring, because it feels like the other lot, they haven't got a clue.
Really?
no, well, you know, they play a fine game of being all high and mighty and hoity-toity. You should see them in their boxing gym, all macho and orcs fighting together. Like they know a thing or two about, like we don't know a thing or two about tactics. Halflings practically invented tactics.
By the looks of things, it seems like they've bitten off a bit more than they can chew here.
So, brass tacks then. I'm a little disappointed that you didn't come to me first, but I understand we didn't take the initial approach of the Fishers so seriously.
Well, That's
You
the thing.
understand.
That's what we heard, that you weren't interested. Otherwise, we'd have maybe shopped around a bit more. But there we are.
Yeah, we got a distinctly not bothered vibe from what we heard through the grapevine.
Also, there was the not inconsiderable matter of what happened at Goldenkrantz and Guildenstern the other day.
I understand you helped out my third cousin a little bit. Good for her.
Interesting person, Laurie. Fun to talk to.
Can be. Doesn't come to drink here often enough.
Not close then?
She scratches my back, I scratch hers. Family's important like that. Even if they forget. Well, that's fine. I got all my cousins around me. Copper Kettle Clan. We remember who's been good to us. And that includes the Cardigans and the Murrays. Gotta have your patrons. Now, I thought this was just going to be a case of a new gang muscling in on territory. But I can see that that as an organisation, you are willing to work with the people who are already here.
Oh, did you think we were the new gang?
There's 3 of us, right?
Now, that's always looking to the future.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, we were
And
never
it's the
planning on
future.
being a new gang.
We're not planning on staying, quite frankly. We make the connections, we expand the network, and then we go elsewhere.
Yeah.
We don't actually want to run things here.
No, we're quite busy.
We're very good short term.
What we'd like to do is leave the Fish Kings with a couple of inns, leave you lot with a couple of new alliances if we can manage it, and possibly squish the Bowstring Boys so that the
See,
street
now
fighting
you're
stops.
talking my language.
Because they just don't seem approachable or reasonable.
Also, with, the whole revolution thing, they seem the least helpful to keep around.
Yeah, and that's going to soon become everybody's problem. And when it does,
Oh, yeah.
you don't want to be worrying about being stabbed in the back from multiple directions, if you see what I mean.
Absolutely. Well, it's
Well,
like
it's
you
a
were
classic
saying,
tactic.
like you were saying earlier, Corzin. Frankly, if the revolution goes badly, it will be the Bowstring Boys on top, and the revolution is more likely to go badly if all the fighting in the streets is still happening. Whereas if we
Yes.
squash the Bowstring Boys early and the street fighting stops happening, the revolution's more likely to go well, and new interesting things can happen. And you can all be left with a better situation with a connection to the Fisher Kings.
And a lot of opportunities.
Yep.
Especially with that election that'll be coming up.
Oh yeah, I hear there's gonna be a few openings.
Yes, from
Again,
if what I
there's a
read in the papers is
twist.
correct, there's room at the top.
There is a that. Got some cold seats to warm back up again. However, I won't be playing second fiddle. If you want our assistance now and in the long term, I'm going to make it very clear. Azra answers to me.
Oof, good luck with that.
He shrugs one shoulder. She's got a leg up with those repeaters.
You've got a leg up with your numbers. Equal footing is probably what we can offer.
Equal
But she
footing for
can't
now.
keep those.
Like we say, we're not here forever.
She's new. She didn't help build this city the way we did.
I think you'd have to begin on equal footing and make your own way from there.
Well, as far as I'm concerned,
Fisher Kings aren't interested in a load of gangs that are fighting for the top spot.
That's why there shouldn't be a fight over it.
I really think Azra's going to sit there and...
I think Azra's desperate.
She's not that desperate, darling.
Azra's a clever girl. She'll realise that... She'll rant and she'll rave, and then she'll realise that her pride doesn't matter more than her survival. Unless you think the Bowstring Boys are going to offer a better deal.
I doubt it somehow.
Honestly, we weren't really planning on talking to them.
Probably for the best.
Don't think we have a lot in common.
He looks between the three of you.
Equal footing. An alliance is an alliance.
Might just be kicking the can down the road. You have my terms, and you have until the evening to come back to me. I'm not opposed to an alliance, but at the end of the day, there can only be one king in time.
What makes you think it should be you?
Little twitch again.
Genuine curiosity.
Yeah, wait, give us your pitch.
Well, I mean, we're the ones picking.
Are you now?
Yeah. That's what we were sent for.
There's there's a shifting from the 30-odd halflings in the room. Owen makes no effort to stop them. All right. What makes me the best? Because I'm the smartest, and I'm the sharpest. And I've brought us from strength to strength, while those meat-headed orcs have been trying to grind us halflings down since day 0. I look out for mine, and I'll be sure to look out for my city when I'm on top.
It's funny, I've heard a similar pitch before.
When it comes down to it, there can only ever be one top dog.
Yeah, but there's more to being top dog than being the smartest or the most powerful. You would be responsible for every other gang underneath you. Are you actually going to care for them? Or do you just care for your own?
Yeah, Scamp has just made the point, actually. What you've just said is I look out for me and mine. That doesn't make you a good...
Simple. If they're mine, I look out for them.
And you'll see the other gangs as yours? In the same way?
When they know their place, yes.
Do this lot have to know their place?
We're all family here.
So no, then. You wouldn't look out for them in the same way you look out for yours.
You are so very interesting. Again, there's the twitching. I will take your words into consideration.
Okay? Well, evenly back in.
Does he seem to be being genuine with us?
Roll an insight check.
Can everyone? Can I?
If you want, yep.
15.
Celestia's too busy, trying to look intimidating. It's like... What
12.
number did I just roll? 7. There we go. I've no fucking idea.
He is utterly unreadable. There's something about him. He could be genuinely considering what you're saying. He could be about to take the sax and try and put it through Celestia's eyeball.
I think it's both.
it's that hard to tell what he's thinking.
You're interestingly hard to read.
Thank you.
It's good.
How's the stout?
How does it appear to be?
Have you tasted any?
Yeah, I would have had a
smooth
sip
chocolate.
after he had one.
Smooth chocolate. Yeah, he does. You do wait until he has a drink, and he has when he's been having them evenly. It's actually a smooth, rich porter. It's actually it's got a good body to it.
Oh, it's very refreshing. Also got a lot of character.
Better at the source. These things never keep as well in transit, but they always tend to keep the best stuff for home.
Let's get over to Cairn at some point.
Yes.
Not actually. Kearney's myself. A lot of us are from Halfland.
Fair enough. I apologise.
It's an easy mistake to make. Understand us.
Yeah, another reason I suppose why you wouldn't want the Arthurians running things.
Again, Twitch. You could say that. I got family from Dovetail.
Oof.
Well,
Also nods knowingly.
Well,
it's been a lovely meeting. If you ever see Colonel, what's the chappie outside in the fortress? Smith, Wilkins, something like that. Tomkins, that's it. You ever see him? You give him a dagger. You put a dagger in the eye of the Butcher of Dovetail for me, would you?
That's on our to-do list.
this is an entirely separate conversation that we could have, because if you want to do it, that could potentially be arranged. I'm being serious.
Sounds like we've got a score to settle.
As I see it, the two matters are hand in hand. You take my terms, and my family and I will be all too happy to join you in the field, to settle old scores and to look out for our own.
Would you really give up the chance for revenge on dead family because you don't want to start on equal footing with Azra?
It comes to blood eventually, if it isn't. If it isn't set in advance.
And you think it won't come to blood if you start the other way?
He shrugs evenly. There is a certain way people think. If they think they're on a par with you, they'll try and step on your shoulders to get up. But if you're already on top, that makes them think twice.
I'm confident you've talked to Azra recently if you don't think she'd try.
If she's... that's why I want her to agree. Publicly.
What
Hard
makes
to
you
turn
think
back.
that's worth her while?
Because she hasn't got a cat's chance in hell of surviving otherwise.
She does if she's a Fisher King.
Then we'll see if she's still standing in the morning.
Well, you've given us something to think about. Just think it's a shame that you'd see your city potentially destroyed and taken over by Syrians rather than take a slightly lower rank.
Yeah, you mentioned that this is your city and that your family helped build it.
You think they're going to raise
wonder-
it to the ground?
I wonder how much of it you're willing to see destroyed over the vendettas that you currently hold. How much is it actually worth to you?
Surprised that somebody with family from Dovetail would not think about these things with the gravity they deserve. You don't know how many ships they're bringing. We do.
You know they like to call us rats. They think of us as rats, little scurrying, squiggling little creatures.
Ugh.
But there's much to recommend the rat. You're good at hiding, finding soft places to bite, surviving.
Intelligent, too. Also incapable of vomiting.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's
I
why
didn't know that
rats
either.
are actually really cautious about trying new foods because they can't throw them up.
Well, you learn something new every day.
There you
I'd
go.
have thought, if I'm honest. Bet you a lot of rats died in Dovetail, though. You want to take that risk?
If it comes to it, I'll conserve my energy to look after me and mine and these streets and keep them safe. Because I don't think that they're going to raise the city to the grind. I think that they'll install some new, more compliant puppets up top, and we might have to lay low for a while.
You sure?
It's an awfully big gamble if you're wrong.
Life's a gamble.
Well, I hope you don't lose.
I'll drink to that. He grins.
Raise a glass.
Drains his glass, puts it down, and there's just a moment of
I finished mine.
where the smile slips and there's just nothing but rage. And he smiles again. Well, I'll have your answer by nightfall, or you'll have mine.
Great.
Either way.
Cheerio.
Lovely meeting you.
Yeah, enjoy your day.
Thank you for the drink.
You awkwardly have to shuffle back out because of the height.
Let's start
Oh
out.
no, just limbo back out.
No,
It's a
another acrobatics check because you've got to get up from a sit into a limbo.
That would be... Oh, what is it? 30.
Okay.
No, not 30.
just-
27, sorry. wrong
As they
one.
lean back and just using your forearms to prop you, just go straight into a limbo, and there's just coolly limbo back out.
Bend my spine smoothly back upwards to the other end.
Tam, the doorman, is like, fucking hell. I'll see that every day.
Bendy Tam.
Woman of many talents, this one.
Be seeing you.
Bye.
Bye.
The door closes. Tam takes a pipe, lights it.
Well, have a good one.
Right. Have a good day. Fuck off.
You too.
You too.
Oh, both counts.
I love that two of us said you too. That's amazing.
And wander back into the streets of Newmark to consider your next move. A move that you will be able to take next time.
The heads of crime gangs aren't very nice.
They aren't, are they?
No.
Thank you all very much for playing. Thank you all very much for listening. And farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs. Fair seas and natural 20s. When life's too full of hurtful things, it's time to speak of Tiger Kings and yellow mountains, autumn's full. Did someone just explode that gull?
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.